And we should be live. Thank you for joining tonight. Want to thank Gunther and Brian, who will be joining us shortly here. I'm going to be just going over a couple things quickly before they jump on here. Wanted to cover some news, some things that happened over this past week, some interesting things. Starting here with this New York. Gotta love New York. New York AG warns against crypto investments amid state push to ban mining. So, New York now is trying to ban proof of work mining. This whole green narrative, if anyone has been watching the past couple weeks. Thank you, Bitfinesse, for being here. Appreciate it. OX Will. Mobius, thank you, man, for showing up. You're a legend. So, New York, man, they're hating on everything. So that this green narrative, New York State Senate passed a bill trying to ban proof of work mining in the state. If it gets approved, new mining operations will be prohibited, and those with license to operate will not be able to renew their permits. So they're going to start cracking down. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. It's just narrative, fear. I know Biffines. I can't wait until I can get out of here. Personal reasons. I'm stuck here for a little bit, but as soon as possible, I'm heading down south or going out west because it's just crazy. I mean, everywhere you go, they're banning stuff. I can't even use Nexo wallet. I wanted to stake some Ethereum and Bitcoin, and it's New York. Sorry, we do not allow it anymore. So it's just crazy, man. It never ends. Another thing I wanted to talk about before they come in is you guys, Mobius, Sologenics and Corium. For anyone else that does not know, this is on the XRP ledger. And what you do is you download the Zoom wallet right here. You go to zoom.community. There's also a mobile app too. And you download that and you send in, I think you need 10 XRP to get your wallet going. And once you do that, you go up here to tokens, and then it shows you the list of all the trust lines, they're called here. And once you have the app open, you can set trust lines. So here for Sologenics, this is a coin I've been talking about because they are tokenizing stocks. It's going to be massive. They got an NFT market, and the coin is deflationary. The supply is fully circulating, and they are burning coins as we speak. So anyone that wants to get into this, you just download the Zoom wallet, go to zoom.community, and then send in your XRP. And then up here in tokens, you can do a search. And for Sologenic, there's 291,000 trust lines. And then you hit set trust line, and then you approve it on your phone. It's going to show up. I'm not signed in right now, but this will pop up. You confirm it, and then on your phone in the events tab, swipe it, and then that will confirm your transaction. So you can swap inside Zoom XRP for Solo. And once you're holding Solo, every single month, there's a snapshot for Corium. And the Corium airdrop, it's going to be massive. It already is. It's already worth more than Sologenics Corium. It's basically a new layer one that they are building out. David Schwartz, who is the CEO of XRP, is involved with this. And it's just really interesting to me that you see all of these, these influencers are out there, all these XRP maxis talking that XRP is going to $589. XRP is going to the moon. They're going to flip a switch, da-da-da-da-da. But why don't they ever talk about Sologenics and Corium? If XRP was this great and going to thousands of dollars, why are they not talking about Solo? Why are they not talking about this company here that is literally tokenizing 40,000 stocks and assets to trade on demand. So 24/7, if you know all these people that are scared of crypto, don't want anything to do with it. That's great. What these guys are doing that's brilliant is they're going to take these stocks, they're going to tokenize them as if they're cryptos. You'll be able to buy and sell them 24/7, 365. But the brilliant thing they're doing is they're adding a USDC trading pair. So that alone is going to be huge because the money will be able to start crossing over. People that are trading stocks in there, they can now take that USDC and send it to, all these different wallets, to different exchanges. And it's going to start just bringing more capital into the market. And, I really think this coin is underpriced right now for where it is at 20. I think it's at like 27 cents, something like that. Not financial advice, obviously. We're just, we just do research all day, every day, looking at the markets. So definitely turn on CNBC or your favorite media outlet if you want, real advice. But I really like Solo. This, like I said, the circulating supply is 400 million, and look, they've already burned over almost 500,000 already, and that's because the NFT marketplace is live and it's brand new. There's not much going on, and that just shows you already how fast this is going to appreciate. Once these companies start, once the Ripple lawsuit settles, that's going to be the catalyst that really flips a lot of these utility-based coins. This bear market, I think, is going to drag out potentially 6-7 months, until Ethereum, the merge happens this summer, and the triple halvening, that's going to cause a supply shock on Ethereum. There's a major Cardano hard fork that's coming. The Ripple lawsuit will end this year. That's going to be some very, very bullish news for crypto. So I really think there's going to be a select few of coins that will start to take off, even though the market is just in the gutter. Once the lawsuit is over and legislation's in effect, you're going to start seeing things thriving. So back to my point is, we here in the HEX community, we buy our HEX, we stake it, and every day we get paid. Every day we're getting paid in HEX. So we use that same principle of buy and stake and hold with Solo and Corium. Just for holding SoloGenX every month in your Zoom wallet, you get a free airdrop for Corium. So it's free money. And then at the end of the airdrops at the end of this year, 30% of the supply is still going to be left, and there's going to be a community vote on what to do with it. So you're going to be able to stack SoloGenX and get a free airdrop every single month. And then there's going to be another airdrop with the remaining supply. So this is going to run in parallel with the XRP ledger and is going to allow not corporations, but institutions and basically, large players to get involved in this ecosystem. This is built for a lot of this stuff is not even built for us. I mean, this is for financial institutions. SoloNex, the most secure and scalable asset tokenization solution designed for financial markets on one of the fastest blockchain networks. So this right here, I mean, this stuff is not for us. This is for big money, and this is going to start to really, really shine towards the end of this year. Right here, this pops out immediately. You see American Express and MoneyGram and Ripple's payment network. MoneyGram, for anyone that doesn't know, Ripple is now being sued by the SEC. They were approved to purchase MoneyGram for $50 million in 2019 or 18. They bought MoneyGram as basically a trial for their RippleNet and their cross-border payments and instant settlement. So once they saw that how good this technology was. MoneyGram's what was it? Cross-border transactions went up like 160% year over year. So they were killing it with Ripple's technology. And Ripple ended up selling to making huge profits. And now XLM is taking over where Ripple left off. So I really think Ripple is going to be not XRP. There's a big confusion here. XRP is not Ripple. People, this is something that I can't, it just drives me nuts when people think XRP and Ripple, not the same thing at all. Ripple Labs right here. The only way you can get this Ripple Labs is on link 2. This is for accredited investors only, and it is $48 a share right here. Ripple. This is what, when people are talking XRP, 99% of the time they're thinking of this right here, Ripple Labs. This is not XRP, the coin. That coin XRP is going to be, I think, going to be the bridge asset that these banks are going to use for liquidity. So if you have $1 million in US dollars and you want to buy something in Japan, instead of having to wait a week to settle that, XRP will be that on-demand liquidity where instant settlement will happen. Ripple is going to be what all of the banks and the central banks run on. The software is using RippleNet, and this is where the money is going to be made. I mean, I don't want to, take anything away from XRP. I like the coin. I'm invested in it in my iTrust Capital account because it's just one of very few options. But if you want exposure to actual Ripple, the company, before it goes public, it's like $47 a share. You have to be an accredited investor, but it's available on here and you can buy it. And just as an example, these guys had Coinbase on here. When I first found out about this site, it was $10 a share. So what it was, $10, it is a lot. You have to be accredited. You have to make $10,000 purchases. So just think about that. If you bought $10,000 worth of Coinbase at $10 a share, you got 1,000 shares. It launched at $360. So the stock now, I think, is like 58 or $60. It's down 85%. So all you saw were these mad money guys, Kramer, all them hyping, and the stock just dumped. So the same thing with Ripple. The people are going to get in and they're going to just dump. You're going to see a huge media push. This is going to launch at God knows what. It's $47. I wouldn't be surprised if it launched over $500. There'll be at least a 10x on here, and everyone that's waiting to buy it is going to get dumped on, and they're going to get crushed. And the more you start learning about markets, that's pretty much how the stock market works. So I just wanted to talk about that. Solo, Corium, and then, those airdrops, it's free money. So hodl your Sologenics, set up your trust line for Corium in it right here, XRPL tokens, set up Solo, set up Corium, and every month you'll get that airdrop. Bang, bang, bang. 7 more months of it. And then another airdrop once those are done. There's going to be a community vote. So this is going to be community driven. Corium, all the DAOs are going to be voting, and Sologenics, they are making huge leaps for financial institutions. So, now instead of keeping your eyes on just this, every day looking at these bubbles and just seeing blood and negativity and arguing on Twitter, it's when you have other stuff to look at, you're not just focused on one thing. You don't have to be negative. You can look at, wow, I just got my airdrop this month. Wow, let's look at Hedera and let's see, I can take my Hedera and I can now stake it for 44%. So there's a lot of options out here where you guys can use the principles HEX taught us and, apply it to Hedera, apply it to Sologenics. And that way it keeps you out of, negativity and just all the other stuff that's going on. So on that note, I see Günther here and Brian. If you guys are ready, come on in. Right, there's Günther. Brian.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Not bad. Sorry for being late. I know that's not good. So I apologize.
Dude, if trust me, every week there's one of us is late, or we're doing something wrong, or our camera's not working. So it's no worries, man. I'm excited.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So yeah, I was just going over, just kind of rambling a little bit, looking at some stuff. I think he'll be right here in a second.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So when did you get into HEX?
I got into HEX on day one.
Okay, so you're a OG.
Yeah, but I don't really like to. I don't like the term OG anymore. Only because like it was kind of spoiled for me with like a lot of the mega dumpers.
Yep.
So like I'm just a regular old Hexican like anybody else.
Yep.
I might have like a larger position than some, but it does, regular guy. Hey, what's up, buddy?
What's going on?
There he is.
Günther, welcome, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it. What's up, Adam? Sorry I was late, bro.
Oh, man, no problem.
Taking my time.
One day we'll get this stream running flawlessly on time.
That's right. Listen, I want to put out a disclaimer. There may be some background noise coming out of my my neck of the woods, so just ignore it. If you hear any kids being annoying in the background, just ignore it. We'll just act like we don't hear it.
Hey, thanks for the nice comment, Bit Finesse. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Heck yeah. So I don't know what kind of introduction that you've had yet. I'm sure most of you guys are all, I only knew Günther as a name. Back in the past, I would hear about the guy who did the audit, the HEX OA audit, and your name has always been attached to that, and that's your legacy, I guess, as far as the HEX community is concerned. That's how a lot of us were introduced to you.
Yeah.
So Günther knows how to deep dive into that blockchain and find out what's going on, and he likes to report back to the community now, which I'm really starting to dig your presence, because now it's like I never saw it. Now all of a sudden Günther's everywhere I look. There he is.
Well,
he's on my stream.
No, thanks. Yeah, before, I was just like in Telegram. Actually, when I first got into HEX, I wasn't even in the Telegram chats. I was just a private player, just doing my own thing, playing my own game, trying to build my own like stake ladder and that kind of thing. But yeah. I would watch all the videos and everything. But then after I did well with HEX and was able to enter into an early retirement and just like gain freedom of my time, then I decided to like enter into the chats. Hextronaut, actually, one of my friends. I don't know if you guys seen Hextronaut on Twitter before or Telegram.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with him. Yeah, I've been following him for a while. We follow each other and whatnot.
Nice. He kind of encouraged me to enter into like HEX trading chat, and I devoted a lot of time into that chat, just trying to help people. But at the same time, like when you're in the early days of HEX trading, there was a lot of alpha in that chat. Like there was a lot of brain power from like players. Unfortunately, a lot of those key players left the chat, and so it's kind of like a brain drain. There's still some good people in there for sure, but it's just not like it was in like the old days. And plus now with the bear market, now it's just like
it's tough right now, man. There's a lot of people dropping like flies. It's it's getting hairy out there. Overall, I think I'm fine with. I'm not worried about HEX's performance right now at all. I see exactly the same behavior as I would have expected in this type of environment, economically and as far as crypto specifically. There's just so much fear. Everybody's fearful of what's going on economically, prices crazy, inflation, everything. Everything is working against us right now in America and probably globally, I'm sure. But so, that's what's going to happen. We're going to see a lot of people exiting. We're going to see people selling at a necessity. We're going to see whales that, are just done. They just want to cash out and just be done with, just get their profits. And hey, that's fine, man. It's just a big wealth transfer right now. It's all that's happening. It's just transferring from smaller number of wallets to a larger number of wallets. And we see it on a daily basis. It's just right in front of our faces, and it's a good thing. I love it.
I like that little statement there. Pulse Doge mints the best HEX users, you could say.
Hell yeah.
We could flesh that out later, but that's actually a profound statement. Just remind me.
Yeah. We'll start that there.
It's crazy. like you see all these like mega dumpers like in HEX, and so like obviously it's okay, like people are selling, people are taking profits, like we'd expect that, right? Especially after you make like mad gains.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's fine. It's just a redistribution basically of what's happening. You know, these larger players are giving up their coins. The staker class is loaning them out value now, especially like long-term stakers. And so then they're able to extract liquidity. And we really don't care if we're playing a long game. If you're playing a game that's like 10 to 15 years, who cares? You don't
That's
really
what I'm
care
saying. It's
price
not
now.
really, I'm not really worried about it. I'm not trying to lose anything I have. I'm really, I may throw a little bit of money in here and there when I can, but overall, I'm just holding. I'm
That's
not
good.
selling anything right now. I wouldn't sell. And I mean, I wouldn't really take a loss right now. I'd still be up considerably, even if I sold right now, but I don't want to. Why would I do that? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
You don't sell something after it's gone down 90%, especially
Right.
with the global bear market. This is where you're a buyer. And it's the problem that a lot of people don't understand, especially like people that are new in crypto, like they pull up the price chart of HEX and they just see it getting just like totally annihilated and wrecked.
Right.
Just painting this like multi-year bear market type of pattern. And so it puts so much fear and uncertainty and doubt. And then you got like fudsters that come through and try to paint HEX as like a scam or a rug pull, or like, see, we were right all along.
Yeah.
Total bullshit, because like literally every market in crypto is getting totally wrecked.
Everything.
There's
not even outside of crypto. Everything. Stonks, freaking every market is just all out of whack.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
All
But
over the
I
place.
mean, I might be able to pull up like one chart that actually looks good in the bear market. That actually is green candles. It's very
pretty true.
rare though. Like everything is just totally wrecked. But I just want to encourage people, like if you bought HEX at 51.3 cents or at the top, don't
realize your losses.
Don't realize your losses, but also just kind of just take a step back from the market, close the price chart for like a while. If you have cash or dry powder, you definitely can be a strong buyer at this level, and just kind of hold your position. If you have any liquid HEX, stake it. That will protect you from volatility.
Even if you just stake for 2 months, even, just to get it out of your thought. And here's the thing that people overlook a lot with HEX. One of its greatest security features built right into the natural process of the contract, where when you stake your HEX, it disappears. It's you send it to the null address, it's gone.
Yeah.
How can anybody steal something that's gone, that you don't own? You don't even have it anymore. You got T-shares. You know
the
what I mean?
only way they can steal is if you are not careful with your seed words.
Right.
When somebody gets that, then they can end all your stakes and take your money.
That's it. I mean, save from losing your seeds. Overall, I mean, it's a very safe place to put your HEX when you stake it with the contract, because you know what I mean. And it's a great feature that I think is often overlooked. So even if you don't want to stake long term, and you just want to, but say, okay, I don't want to stake long term, but I want to hold through this bear, and I want to wait for the price to go up a little bit before I sell anything. Okay, so just stake for like a couple months. If you have a good amount of HEX, like say 1 million plus, not even, you don't even need that much. Maybe like, a few 100,000 even. You can stake short term. Gas hasn't been that bad lately. You can stake short term, and it's worth it. You collect a little bit of yield. Your coins were safe and safe and sound, and you didn't have the opportunity to really sell them. They were kind of out of sight, out of mind, and that's what I love about HEX, man. It's got that built right in, and it's the perfect tool in this kind of a market where just fear is overwhelming everybody.
And when you're staked, it especially for new people, if you've been through a bear market, like me, looking back at what I did in 2020, when I would sell, I had Sandbox and I sold $50 of it, and it was like 1,700 coins. It would have been worth like 10 grand now. So I was just buying and selling just stupid bags because, I didn't know what I was doing. I would see stuff pumping, and I was just, dabbling around. And hitting that sell button at the bottom instead of just holding it. I mean, it's unbelievable how much some of these bags would be worth. And until you experience it and you see it for yourself, it's hard to not get that temptation to hit sell. But staking changes your mindset. If you can stake with HEX and you can start in HEX, it really gets you out of that chasing mindset and gets you into that long-term thinking, which that's where the people win. People that
it really does
now and during the bear market and load up, and then it doesn't matter when things pump because it's inevitable. So having the bags loaded before this utility bull run comes, not this spec and all the memes and shit, this was actual utility, which will be coming. You know, it changes everything. You know, you're not buying, selling, panicking. You stake, hold, and just know and be confident in what you own, and you can sleep at night.
Yeah, no, that's the beauty of like the staker class. And I would actually encourage people, if you don't currently have life-changing wealth in HEX, then this would be my I guess advice, right? Maybe start staking with like the max length stake. Start creating 5 day stakes. Start there. Pay your future self first. Maximize USD price appreciation, maximize T-shares. Like if you stake at least 10 years, you're getting 3x the T-shares. But if you're staking for 15.2 years, you're literally maximizing every aspect of the system. So that you capture all the USD price appreciation for 15.2 consecutive years. You're getting interest in HEX. And what a lot of people fail to realize is that interest also captures all of the USD price appreciation. So for example, if you're currently earning $1,000, let's just say a smaller player, right? But let's say you're earning like $50 with all your stakes, you're earning $50 in interest per day. I'm just using rough, just an arbitrary number. When the price of HEX does a 10x, for all those days that you earned $50, you didn't actually earn 50 because you couldn't sell the interest because it's attached to the max length stake. And you can only realize that at the end of the term when your stake matures. So if it goes up 10x, that became $500 for all of those days. And if it does another 10x, that became $5,000 for all of those days. That's amazing if you stop to think about this.
Absolutely.
This is not like compounded interest. This is like a new form of interest. So I would just encourage people, start with the max length and maybe work your way backwards. There's infinite number of strategies that you can employ with HEX stakes, but consider at first maybe doing annual stakes, like do year 15, 14, 13, 12, work your way all the way back to year 1. And then you're like, okay, I got all those annual stakes built. Let me go back and do, let's say, stakes every 6 months. So start filling in the gaps. At the deep end, always start with your future self and do all 6-month stakes, and then go back and do all quarterly stakes. And then if you can, do all monthly stakes. I would just encourage people not to do like really, really small amounts. Because you might get wrecked with gas fees, but but just do it as you can. If you work regular job, save up maybe $1,000, boom, stake 5. Save up another 1,000, stake for year 14. Save up another 1,000, stake for year 13, and just build your position. Don't close the price chart. Who cares? You got like all these like mega dumpers. You got malicious actors pretending to be something that they're not, just mega dumping on people's heads, and then they're essentially selling they're selling the peak of HEX and then selling all the lower highs so that they could set limit orders at lower prices and scoop up, because what they do, they want to create fear and panic in the market. They want to fudge you out of your bags. So I would encourage you, if you got liquid bags of HEX, stake everything. You can follow my example if you want. I've got 0% that's liquid. All HEX staked. I've got quarterly stakes. I got 10-year stakes. I got 15-year stakes. It's all staked.
I'm the same way. I have 1.58 liquid HEX.
Say it again. Sorry, I was looking at the messages. My mind was like got distracted.
I have 1.58 liquid HEX.
Excellent. I like it. Hey, I did an experiment a while ago. I think I staked 10 hex for 5555 because I was just curious. I wonder what would that be worth. And then I also did another one that was like, I think it might have been worth I don't remember if it was like a penny or if it was $1. I was just curious because even though you pay the gas fees, but I was like, I wonder if you could turn like $1 over 15 years. I wonder how much $1 would be worth if you like
right.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool to think about.
Yeah, I mean, and you didn't even mention the end stake penalties that you accumulate too during those stakes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those days when you got those nice high payouts. Oh man, those are nice. Yeah.
Even if like not even counting like extra like penalties, like the base rate right now is like 6.2 hex per T-share or something like that per day.
It has jumped up recently.
It was at 5.7 just last time I could remember. It was just staying consistently around there. Now we're well 6, and the T-share rate is 22.7. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's the reason that you want to stake now. I mean, people are always asking, oh, well, why don't I wait to, I want to hold my hex and then I'll stake it on post chain. Why? Stake it now. All you're gonna do if you wait is you're gonna just get a higher T-share rate later. You're gonna pay more for T-shares.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You're gonna have to spend more hex to get the same amount of T-shares in the future. That's it. That's all you're doing to yourself. You're gonna get the same copy. It's gonna either be staked hex copied or it's gonna be liquid hex copied. Why wait? Just stake it now. Take advantage of today's T-share rate, because that T-share rate is jumping up every day, like at an astounding rate. I mean, if you watch it and pay attention to it, it's already up to like, what is it, like 22 or 23,000, and it just passed that 20,000 mark recently.
I remember staking on day one. It was like the share price was 10,000 hex. Per T-share. Like that's crazy because we've literally just seen it ratchet up over time. And then what's going to be very interesting, the share price only goes up in hex terms, not in USD terms, because if hex like crashes, right, that's affected. But in hex terms, it only goes up. What you're going to see eventually is these older stakes that are like really early. And then they're like long stakes. So let's say like stake for like 5 years or 7 years or 10 years. Once those stakes expire, that's going to really like ratchet up that share price. And
then we're going to have that much bigger of a piece of the pool. That's basically what it comes down to.
It's just going to be more expensive. And then you also have hex that's also going up too. So if you look at the share price in terms of like US dollars over time, it's going to be really, really, really expensive.
Do you think there'll be less dumpers that like all the people the first couple of years that got in early, sacrifice free claim with Bitcoin? They have no intention of staying long term. They're just taking dumping. I think after like 2-3 years is when that will start to, now you'll start seeing less of that, and people that are the hex is now going into the hands of long-term holders versus day one it was like fire sale.
I agree with that. I think we'll probably have I think this bear market, I mean, no one knows. No one has a crystal ball. We can't predict the future. We don't know what will happen. We can just maybe make projections, and we might be 100% right, or we might be just totally full of shit. But, I mean, this is just facts, right?
For real.
But I think maybe hex actually so hex peaked at like September of 2024, or sorry, September of 2022 or 2021.
21.
Yeah. My brain, we're doing stream at night, so my brain's a little bit fuzzy. I think we might see something where it just takes, some time to just shake everyone out. Like maybe it's like a rounded bottom where maybe 3.6 cents, or maybe it goes low. I don't know. Or maybe it holds that. I really don't know. But some type of rounded, like U-shaped bottom where it just takes maybe 2 or 3 years to return to the peak of 51.3 cents.
Yep,
and I say this, I don't know this. I'm just guessing. It's an educated guess. And I say this just to kind of maybe set proper expectations for people. Like, guys, this is a long game. I know it sucks if you bought the peak, but just give it some time. You could, if you want to, and you don't want to wait, when the price returns back up to 51 cents, you could cash out and break even if you want. I wouldn't recommend it, but people can do that. Just don't sell it at a loss like this,
Right.
Unless you have a really good use for that money and you need it, or you
Right.
have other ideas to invest it in other places.
And to that point, if you say you did buy at 50 cents, right? That sucks. But if you start buying right now at 5 cents, now you just cut your entry average price in half. Now you're not looking, oh, my entry into HEX was 50 cents. Now, if you average your buys and you buy enough, you could turn your entry price into something more like 30 cents, something a little more palatable for the short term thinking, so you don't feel like you're so down and you're so far behind. Start accumulating and DCAing at these lower prices. Your average you'll chop it right down, and before you know it, your entry will be 10 cents. And that'll be, you say, I paid basically an average of 10 cents for my HEX for what I own right now. And then you'll be good. You'll be in good shape.
If you buy HEX at 5 cents and you wait for the price to return to the all-time high, guess what? You just 10x your money.
Absolutely.
Congratulations. That's a great return on investment.
Yes,
That's the kind of prices that you want to, that's where you want to be a buyer. When something crashes 93% and goes all the way down to 3.6 cents, that's when you hit the buy button. That's not where you panic and like start emergency end staking and selling.
God, no.
Oh
my God.
This is exactly where I sold Cardano at 2 cents. I held it for 6 months and sold it at 2 cents because I was like, why am I holding this when Trust Swap is pumping? What am I doing? And so that's how you get yourself wrecked. Just it's trust. You have to put trust in people that have seen this before. They've been through it. I mean, if you're that scared and you're thinking about selling, go to the highest of stakes website and watch the trailer for that. And if you don't think the release of that documentary is going to do something for the price of HEX, the second Richard puts something out that Pulse Chain is almost ready, there's going to be so much. We're in the middle of a bear market. These influencers are not going to have anything to talk about. We all know they sacrificed Ivan on Tech, the Moon Guy, MM Crypto, BitBoy.
They all sacrificed for it.
Start talking about it because there is nothing else other to talk about. Unless
they're definitely going to start talking about projects on Pulse Chain. I mean, I doubt that they're all just going to ignore Pulse Chain completely and act like it doesn't exist. That would be absurd. You know what I mean? They're going to have to start like talking about it at some point. It would be like a huge elephant in the room.
Yeah, they were able to do that with HEX and like scam label and gate kept it and all kinds of bullshit.
Right.
Even still, HEX at 201 position on coin market cap. Like what?
Right.
Hello.
I know.
Like when are you guys going to fix that? But once with Pulse Chain and Pulse X and all that, it's just more palatable, I think, for people. They more understand it. They like getting free money, like a whole ETH network copied over. This guy's actually asking, what if you want to get some Pulse or Pulse X if you missed out? I guess you'd probably want to just see like what are those assets trading at. So if they're trading close to the best possible sack rate for early guys that sacked on the low part of the bonding curve, basically the flat part of the bonding curve, where they got 10,000 tokens per dollar, then I think you could do that swap and it would be a good trade. However, if HEX is at a low, if HEX is at the bottom now, and if Pulse and PulseX launch and start trading at much higher prices than those like lowest points of the sack rate, then I don't think that's a good trade, because that just means if they're overvalued, there's a high likelihood that early people that sacked are going to take profit. So for example, if you got an early guy that put in like, let's say he put in $100,000 and it starts trading at like 100x from that. That's like $10 million. There's a high likelihood like that guy's going to be like a seller, because that's
he's going to cash something out. Yeah, for sure.
So
most people would.
What do you think about the people that, because for everybody that missed Pulse Chain and they just sacrificed hard into Pulse X for dumping Pulse X and getting into Pulse Chain, you think that sell pressure just for the sheer amount of people that are getting into Pulse Chain through Pulse X? Do you think that sell pressure is going to really affect Pulse X off the rip?
In my opinion, yes. And I'm obviously, this is pure speculation, like no crystal ball. I have no idea. But I think you make a good point. I think there's a high likelihood that Pulse X might actually crash. And maybe that money's injected into Pulse, which would cause the price of Pulse to go up, because you got to think Pulse is like having ETH on Ethereum, right?
Yep.
When that first launched. And like all those guys missed it. You also have a lot of guys that maybe had a better financial position when Pulse X launched. So they had more money that they could sacrifice for that. And so their Pulse X bags are greater than their Pulse bags. So for example, like myself, my Pulse X bags 8 times the size of my Pulse bags.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure I want that. I might want maybe more even bags, right? So that means I might swap some Pulse X for Pulse. Maybe. I got to see. I don't know what the market conditions are going to be like.
Right.
So I think it's good to let it launch, take a step back. Don't make any hasty decisions. Think about what you're doing. Think about the ratio between the two assets. Are they trading at 1-to-1? Or is the ratio like 3-to-1 or 5-to-1?
I think in my head it's going to be more of like a 4-to-1, like 4 Pulse X will equal 1 Pulse type of thing. I think that's a possibility, but it's so hard to really guess. I know one thing I'm going to do, and I encourage anyone who has both Pulse and Pulse X. I know I'm going to be providing liquidity for the Pulse X pair. I think that's going to be a great pair in the beginning because of what we just talked about, because of a lot of people that sacrificed for Pulse X, didn't know about Pulse Chain or didn't get into it for whatever reason, but then decided, I'm going to get heavy into Pulse X and use that just to try to get my exposure and get into Pulse Chain that way. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of people doing that, and I think liquidity provider for that trade, that pair, is going to be a good play in the early times of the Pulse Chain launch.
I also know some players that have told me that hey, they just love HEX, so they're at this point. Some of them might swap their whole bags of Pulse and Pulse X for HEX. You never know. People just have different financial objectives, and they view assets differently, and so naturally, wallets will always do what they think is in the best interest. Users will always do what they think is in the best interest of their wallets. So if they think something's going to outperform something else, no one's going to stop them. I mean, they're going to make swaps based on what they think, right?
Yeah.
It's just how it is. But yeah, there's a good point by U.S. Coast Guard vet talking about how Bitcoin crashed 93% in 2011. And then obviously HEX basically crashed the same amount, 92 or 93%. And he's posted some charts before of showing the comparison between the two, and some other analysts too, really good analysts in HEX, also draw a strong correlation between the two assets. So you might see something where, and I'm just speculating, I have no idea, but maybe you see some long rounded bottom, some long bear market. Everyone thinks HEX is dead. Everyone thinks HEX is a rug pull. It's a scam. See, we're all right, dancing over our dead bodies or whatever. And they just basically throw it away like a piece of trash. But then after some time, the buyers step back into the market when the sellers are exhausted. This is basic market psychology. Right. And there's just basically no sellers left at that price. There's only buyers. And the next thing you know, maybe HEX does like a 3-year consecutive bull run like Bitcoin, where Bitcoin went from $168 to $19,891 in 3 consecutive years. It's all, again, it's all speculation, but
I've been seeing that and hearing that there are a lot more buyers than sellers just overall. And
always.
With Ethereum so expensive, all your $50, $100 little buys, you can't do it right now. So when Pulse comes out, and all these little buyers are going to be able to buy $50 worth, not get hammered with fees, I think that's going to help take some of that sell pressure off of what we really have, because these $100 buys, you're priced that you can't buy right now. With gas.
The problem. I mean, I understand what you're saying, and it'll be good in terms of solving the gas fee problem. But that's cute. But the problem is that small players don't move markets. Only large players move markets. Small players are always just along for the ride. They don't. That's why you have what's called market makers, right? They move markets either up, down, or sideways. Everyone else is along for some joyride. So they're just think about it. If you have a large player that has like $100 million that he's ready to inject, and you have other players that only have $100, well, you need to find 1 million of those other players with $100 to match the buying power of that one whale. So it's kind of, just keep that in mind. But yeah, you're right that Pulse Chain will solve the gas fee problems, and will also help on the ETH side. Like everyone thinks like ETH will die, but actually I'm pretty sure that ETH will not die.
I don't think it's gonna. I think that the larger wallets are going to kind of hold the price up on the ETH side. I don't think it's going to totally crash. I think people are going to like I think there's going to be the balance. You're going to have on the ETH side will probably be less people staking, therefore you probably get a higher APY. And I think there will be more stakers on Pulse Chain for lower APY, but again, it'll be like free to do all your transactions on Pulse Chain. So, I think you're going to have some kind of a balance like that, where each chain will have its advantages and disadvantages, and it'll kind of naturally.
There'll be arbitrage opportunities, right? So this is why I think eventually over time, the price will just kind of have parity or equilibrium across the two networks. Because think about it. If you got HEX trading at, let's say, 5 cents on ETH network, and it's trading at 10 cents on Pulse Chain, even though the gas fees are cheaper, are you going to buy the 5-cent HEX or the 10-cent HEX if in your mind HEX is the same?
Right.
You're going to buy the cheaper one, right? And so you're going to go over to the east side, and that's going to like buy it up. But then let's say that starts like trading like 12 cents, and then HEX on the Pulse Chain side is like 9 cents or something. We're going to go back and buy that. So eventually I think they'll just be like equilibrium or price parity. That's just, I'm speculating, but that's what I think.
I think so too. And I think the evidence for that, I've been saying this for a while now. If you look at anything that exists on multiple chains, you basically see that, like if you look even HEX, for example, itself, HEX is on Polygon, right? It's not the same. You can't really stake it, but still look at HEX on Polygon. It's almost identical in price to HEX on Ethereum at all times.
Yeah, it's a good example.
Right. Yeah. And same thing with like Doge. You can buy like Dogecoin on BSC, and it's not like, actual Dogecoin or anything, but it's usually the same price as actual Dogecoin. It just kind of balances out because the market determines its worth is this. It's the same brand recognition or whatever you want to call it. It's the same logo. It's the same token in people's minds.
Yeah.
Just because it's a different chain doesn't make it really a different token.
Yeah. They don't care about the different contract address. Like,
right.
Plebs don't look at that. I mean, let's think about what plebs look at. Token has dog, buy button. Token has little kitty, buy button.
Can it get to
right?
a penny? Buy.
Yeah. It's just like, they don't care. And so it's important to understand that, like, even in some of like these old like videos that were created in the early days of HEX, Richard, there's a funny video where Richard's talking about like if you don't understand why a coin's in the top 10, you need to shut the fuck up, right? And that's if you don't understand why a meme coin should be in the top 10, you should probably shut the fuck up, because you don't understand these markets. People don't care in these markets. People don't actually care about utility. You had mentioned utility a little bit earlier ago, but people don't actually care about that. Let's put it this way. The only utility that they care about is that the price go up, number go up, fat green candles. Why? Because in any investment, whether you're dealing with cryptos or stock market or any other type of investment, people want to make money. They want to make a return on their investment. They actually don't care. Like anything, they're like, oh, I'm in it for the tech. Oh, I'm in it for the utility. Oh, I'm in it for like whatever. None of that matters. And, you could like people, I think sometimes people might like overcomplicate certain tokens that they're creating, and it's just going to go right over people's head. And like the other user mentioned, people don't give two fucks about solving the Byzantine generals problem. They don't care about mathematics. They don't care about computer science. Most people can't read code. The only thing that matters is the value of my portfolio going up. If it's going up, I don't care. Like I used to hate meme tokens.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, now I get it. I'm like, I don't care anymore. I don't
Yep.
care. I don't care. You'd be like, oh,
Well,
you're a meme coin shill. Who
you
cares?
know,
It's going up. I don't care.
PLSD is awesome, and we, I got I had the fortunate occurrence of being able to stream with the founder. The day it launched, he
Nice.
was just in the chat on the stream I do on Discord Syndicate, and he just popped in. This was right on 420, right after launch. It was all the rage at that time, right? Everybody was talking about it because half the people out there were like, no, don't do it, it's a scam, oh my god, and all this stuff. And this guy was like, well, you guys want to talk to the founder? He said right in the chat. I was like, hell yeah. So I gave him the link, and he popped on, and we were able, and he really impressed me. Like he was very, you could tell he had been listening to Richard Hart for a long time, and he's been around here longer than I have, and I could tell. He just, the things he was saying, it was like, okay, yeah, you get it, man. Like, and what really like kind of impressed me about him was the way that he did the distribution. I just think is just genius. I love it. I love the way he like, curved it so that the whales didn't get rewarded like they do in everything else. It was more geared toward, and he said the reason, and I love the reason even more, which is, I want to reward the hexagons that are out there on the ground doing all the onboarding, which is absolutely the middlemen. It's absolutely the squids, the dolphins, the sharks too, probably, but there's not as many. But like those are the main foot soldiers. Even the smaller wallets. It's true. Those are the people out there. They got the numbers. Obviously 50 squids are going to be able to talk to and expose and onboard more people than one whale. In that way, those kind of numbers work, in the opposite way as they do with the numbers and the market moving and whatnot that we were just talking about.
I think you make actually a good point, because even in like the Pulse Doge Telegram chat, I see some players in there that maybe their wallets are not that big, but those guys are awesome. Those guys are creating memes every day, like nonstop. They're creating NFTs. They're on Twitter, like just blasting Twitter with all these like really good tweets, and the chat is like very energetic and positive and lively. Those guys are doing a lot for us, and I think that whales need to actually do more. We need to actually step up our game and set a good example. And the way that we do that is we need to. I think it's important that so if we want to onboard people, right, we have to have influence, we have to have some type of reputation. Like, why should people listen to us? So one of the things that I did recently, I've been quiet for so long, but I recently just started a Twitter account in May. I was silent. I was not on Twitter. It was like rare, like, just some burner address Twitter where I'd go on every once in a while and make some comment, whatever. But now I kind of see the value in it. Sure, there's a large part of Twitter where just like, at least for myself, where I'm just trolling people or shit posting or just kind of trying to be funny. But actually, I think it's a good platform to maybe attract like a very large audience and have a positive influence on those people. And if those people can learn to trust you and respect you and like what you stand for, then maybe you'll have more like a good followers, basically, or good following, and then you can influence those people and help them out with crypto and like how to like actually become successful in the space, and with other topics too. Like I talk about all kinds of stuff, not just crypto. So
no, Twitter's great. I wouldn't have found Hex if it wasn't for Twitter. That's how I stumbled upon it. I was on Twitter for I don't even know. I probably must have followed someone, like, because all I was into at that point was like Bitcoin. I wasn't into anything really. I was maybe messing around with whatever alts I could buy on Coinbase or some shit like that, but I wasn't really doing anything else. And I have no idea how I even found it. Like, but somehow I must have followed the right person on Twitter and they retweeted, or I saw a tweet, and then all of a sudden I just fell into the rabbit hole, with Hex. I was just like, what are these people talking about? And I was like, what the hell is that? And then I looked at the website, and back then, this is late 2020. The website looked like trash. I remember the old website.
Yeah,
it was so bad. And I'm like,
it actually looks pretty clean now. I like it.
No, it looks good now.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. They did a good job on it now.
Yeah.
Now it looks great. So, but then it looked like super clunky and like just, terrible. It looked like if you clicked on like an accidental spam page, you know what I mean? Like you stumbled upon clicked on an advertisement in your email or something. Like that's what it looked like.
Well, I think that some of that was intentional. I think Richard was trying to create it to look like a spam, to feel like a scam, to feel like a scam, like give everything that would make you think that it's a scam, so that a lot of people would actually get wrecked and not get involved. And it turns out they did. Like they just, whatever.
Yeah.
So they just scam labeled it, and a lot of people that believed or had faith in the system and just kind of held their ground and kept adding to their positions, they made a lot of money with HEX,
Absolutely.
Number 13, after all this FUD, after all this scam, after we're the biggest scam, we're a rug pull, we're still ranked number 13.
Nice.
So
hey, is this on I was wondering where you saw the chart. Okay, hex.com. Okay, nice.
Yeah, he's got the diamond on here now. He's got Jason NASCAR stuff. Hey, shout out Motley, man. I saw him today. They raised like almost all. They were trying to get a interview with Logan Paul. He was doing an auction for an NFT, but it came with an interview on Impulsive, and they were trying to win it for Richard.
Okay, I got you.
Wow.
And at the time they had like 30 ETH, and the bid was at like 45 or 50. And so we were looking at the NFT.com ones a couple months ago. So I went and I looked at they released this. So what they did is they had a blind auction where you could submit a bid, and the top 3,000 bids, the 3,000 first bid, that was the price they all went for. So they released the bids, and some people bid like 500 ETH. Some guy did 800. There was like 50 people that did over 100 ETH. So when I saw that and how many whales just threw hundreds of ETH just to guarantee their Genesis key, and there was like 20 minutes left in the auction, and I was like, guys, this is going to go for 150K minimum. And, sure, they were like thinking they were going to get, sure enough, it went for like almost 200 grand.
Yeah, crazy.
And they were like shocked, but I'm like, man, I saw what happened with the NFT.com thing. This guy's fought Floyd Mayweather. He's got the third biggest podcast in the world, but they ended up, but they raised like almost, I think it was 69,000 or 69 ETH they got, which was amazing. In like 2 hours. So Hexagons came together and literally raised 69 Ethereum, which was like almost 110 grand or something.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So we have an awesome community here.
It's nice recently to do all these like live streams with like guys like yourself that are so energetic and positive, and like, because there's so many people. They're just like in some of the chats or on Twitter even or whatever, these guys are just salty,
I know.
pessimistic bears that are just whining and moaning and bitching. It's like, please, guys, please shut up. Just shut up and stop crying and whining. And like, I don't know, it's just so nice. It's so refreshing to me lately to talk to guys that like are just positive still about HEX and like bullish and optimistic and have like the right mindset. You have like millionaire or billionaire mindset. And I think we need to change the dynamics and the mindset of people. Like, follow people like us, follow the bulls. You think the Bears win? Fuck the Bears. Fuck the Bears. We're going to curb stomp you in the end. It's just a matter of time. It's really a matter of time.
You're right. Dude, that's such a good point, man. And like, so I'm forced to do research in other communities for clients that I work with. So when I go meet with someone who has a lot of money and they want to diversify into crypto, if I walk in there and I'm like, yeah, go all in on HEX, man. Just go all in on HEX. They'd be like, okay, there's the door. Get out of here. Yeah. They want to say, so what do you think about Dogecoin? I own this Shiba Inu. or I own this Ethereum Classic. You know, what do you
Yeah.
think? Or Litecoin. So I need to know what's going on in these communities, and I see what's going on around crypto. And there's a ton, like just like what you were saying earlier, people, all they care about is price go up.
Yeah.
And that's true, but that's also led to 19,000 cryptos right now in counting. So it's and that's where the end of this year, when that Ripple lawsuit ends, it's going to change the landscape of crypto. They're going to start dropping the hammer. And if you're not fully KYC, your exchange is gone. And it's going to really start to move things forward into the new carbon credits and the ESG and the CBDCs 24, 25 that are going to start rolling out. So this is going to really start to change. And we've been kind of taking deep dives into that stuff. So when you can look at stuff like Hedera Hashgraph, for example, you know, I'm super bullish on this coin. It's at 9 cents right now, and you could stake it for 44% right now. So, you know, what's the downside risk to a coin that is at rock bottom? You can get.
I don't know. I've never heard of this. What is this called?
So this is Stater Labs. It's a staking platform for Hedera.
Okay.
And what you basically, so you use the Hashpack wallet, which is the native wallet for Hedera. It's the best one. You send your HBAR in there, and it's basically like MetaMask. They actually they just announced they're doing MetaMask integration, and they have Ledger Live just went live for HBAR, and they're going to have native staking this month. So you're not going to have to use Stater, which is a third party platform. I mean, they have, I think you can stake, Hedera, Polygon, Phantom. Like there's a bunch of coins that you can stake on here, but I just
Terra Classic. Yeah. Oh, look.
I'm not
I don't recommend doing anything on Terra. I would probably stay away from that.
Exactly. I wouldn't do anything on Polygon either. They have admin keys. They could run that ass. Take all your
real.
Yeah. Also, you got to be Just one suggestion, right? So with there's so many different assets, like you mentioned, you need to be very selective where you put your money. If you put your money into things that you do not understand, there's a high probability that you will lose everything. There'll either be a security risk of some type where you don't understand the code and didn't have devs check it for you. Like, let's just say you can't read the code, right? If you didn't have some really well-trusted devs go over that, well, there could be some major vulnerabilities there. Maybe some inflation bugs, or maybe some hidden addresses where they could mint unlimited tokens, or whatever kind of bullshit that they could hide in the code or whatever. You also have the risk of connecting to dApps that are not safe or secure, and you give them permission to spend like infinite money from your wallet. Let's say you give them some type of infinite spend limit for USDC or for HEX or for something else. Like you need to be really, really careful. You also need to understand the participants in that market. So I'm kind of trying to cover like more of like the research that should go into something before you even buy the asset. You need to understand the players that are participating in that market. And the only way that you can understand those players is if you know like top wallets in that market. And then you can kind of maybe go through some of those wallets and analyze their behavior and their psychology and the type of transactions that they conduct. You could sort of build like a profile on them. Like if you dig through these wallets and see, okay, is this guy going to fucking dump on me later or whatever? So like, there's just a lot that goes into this. You also need to think about like, does it have perfect product market fit? Is it something that's likely to be adopted? Is it something that will have increasing demand? Does it have centralized ownership? Okay, if it does have centralized ownership, well, who owns the coins? Does it have like crazy inflation? There's just so much to think about and so much to research. You don't want to just blindly throw all your money into different things, because sure, that might work in a bull market because everything kind of naturally gets dragged up because it's bonded to like Bitcoin or Ethereum. And so naturally the alts are lucky in that Bitcoin and Ethereum like drag the prices of those assets up based on Hart's law. But you need to think about what has the highest potential to bring the greatest return on investment for your wallet with those assets that you hold. So it's basically calculus. You need to maximize return on investment for every asset that you hold. So if you're holding assets that are not performing well, you need to swap those into other assets that are performing well with like a long-term like game plan in mind.
100%. That's so well said. And that anything that I talk about on my channel, I own, I have owned, or I would be willing to buy the coin. I've done that research to that point. I've fell for 2 scams in my life. You know, I don't shill stuff lightly. And with Hedera, I'm very bullish on it. Just looking at stuff like, look at their governing board. When you have Boeing, Google, IBM, DBS, Avery Dennison, I mean, you have the behemoths of the world sitting on their governing council. You have Jamie Dimon coming and saying, in the future, if banks aren't using DLTs like Hedera, you're not going to survive. And
But sorry to interrupt. What does the price chart look like? Because at the end of the day, you could look at all this stuff and make decisions based on this information. But what is the price chart of this asset? That's because the price chart tells you everything, because you can always paint a narrative for any asset, right? And you can always like paint it in a positive light. But how is this asset actually performing? I think this is the most important thing.
Absolutely.
It's down 83% from its all-time high.
So like it looks like everything else basically.
Exactly.
Can you switch it to log chart instead of linear?
Sorry. It didn't have the blow off top like, you know, Chainlink, Polkadot. They all had the blow off tops. Like it really didn't. It's still in a major consolidation. I follow some guys that look at the fib extensions and other guys that use the what is it, the ABC what is it, the 5 Elliott wave theory.
Okay.
Elliott waves, right.
That Hedera still hasn't hit its wave 5. XRP still hasn't. So I follow. I do a lot of like I don't do a lot. I watch a lot of analysis, and everyone that makes a point for the bear market lasting another year and a half is 100% right. And people making arguments that we're just in a major consolidation and we're going to take off at the end of summer, Q3, Q4. They have great arguments too. So no one really knows. I mean, in my opinion, no one knows. You just have to just keep current and kind of just adapt and be very, very careful. And
the problem is right now is that you're like Bitcoin's chart is getting absolutely wrecked. And Bitcoin's bonded to Ethereum, and so Ethereum will get wrecked. And all these altcoins are bonded to those, and so they'll all get wrecked. Literally, Bitcoin and Ethereum will drag all these prices down.
And this is manipulation right here. Like this is literally exchanges just doing this to just liquidate longs and shorts every day and just cash in.
Well, they are making money on like leverage, like people that are leverage trading, right, on longs and shorts. But you have this Bitcoin chart is so bad. Let me tell you, this is worse than what people expect. I personally think, and I could be wrong, but I think that Bitcoin will never ever break $69,000, and here's why. Bitcoin is 13 years old. It had a mega bull run for a long time, even though you had a lot of crashes in between. It literally went from sub 1 penny to $69,000 as the highest, like the best performing asset basically in like human history.
Oh yeah.
The richest man in the world bought Bitcoin, Elon Musk. Once the richest guy in the world buys it, who else is left to buy it?
Who's gonna pump that bag now?
Yeah, I mean the price. I forget what he put in, but maybe $1 billion made the price move like 10% or something.
Right.
And it also, if you're talking about Elliott waves, I think Bitcoin just did its 5th Elliott wave with a double top. I actually think Bitcoin is rest in peace forever. Like every high will probably just be a lower high. I don't think it'll ever touch $69,000 again. Right. I could be 100% wrong. That is just like my opinion. But it doesn't matter because there's a lot of other assets that will perform well. But I just think I basically think it's game over. Good game, checkmate. Let's
Bro,
move on to the other assets.
I honestly love that. And you know why? I really think the flippening is going to happen because when Ethereum this summer, when they go through that basically triple halvening and they cut down that inflation to like 650,000 a day instead of whatever 55 million a day, it's going to have a massive create a supply shock. And I would not be shocked if Ethereum really goes on a tear. And then I think they're coming for Tether. Tether is the one that is going to calm down. And if Tether goes, Bitcoin goes. And they've already been sued. They've already came out and said we don't back it by cash.
Yeah.
We back it by a basket of Chinese debt and God knows what else. And I believe there's something that just came out where they have to release their balance sheet on what they're using to back. So
you guys want to hear some imaginary horribles?
Yeah, let's go into it.
Fuck it, full send.
Do it.
I think it's possible. So it's just some imaginary horribles, right? Let's see what U.S. Coast Guard is saying. Yeah, they'll continue to print money. I know, I get it, and it's got to flow into assets. It's got to flow.
It's going to flow into
crypto and real estate, but it doesn't necessarily need to flow into Bitcoin. It can flow into other things that are outperforming. So I mean, I agree, but like, I don't know. We don't really know what will happen. Let's see. I think those guys are delusional though, hoping and praying for $100,000. I'll tell you something right now. You guys are going to laugh your asses off at this, but I think Pulse Doge has a better chance of going to $100,000 per token than Bitcoin.
Bro, dude,
I love it.
Not a single coin out there like Pulse Doge, not one. That the true market can dictate. Every other coin has whales, wallets that can dump it. Unless you want to be that whale, you are buying that price all the way up to the moon to be that person.
Yeah, you have to buy your position in. It's such a solid point, and the thing is, it's getting really expensive. So Pulse Doge launched. We get into the imaginary horribles later, but Pulse Doge launched at $1. It's currently trading at like $4 and change.
Hell yeah, it is.
Dude, it's so easy right now to like 100x the price of Pulse Doge. Like all you have to do is basically find out what the liquidity is across the Pulse Doge HEX pair plus the Pulse Doge USDC pair. And if you inject 10 times the liquidity, then you will move the price up. Actually, you just do 9 times because it already has 1, right? 9 plus 1 is 10. But basically, if you inject, just for simple math, if you multiply the liquidity by 10, you will 100x the price. This is ultra low liquidity with scarce supply. It has like, it's building like a team of whales that seem to be working together in some type of unison where they're just buying and buying and buying.
That's awesome.
This is crazy. I mean, it's done like a 4x in the midst of a bloody, brutal bear market where everything is getting spanked and destroyed.
Amazing.
Like a sea of blood, and like here's this like shining lighthouse in the stormy seas, and like a beacon in the night, and the lights are just like going off, and like, hey, bring your ship to the lighthouse for like peace and safety in the midst of this storm, because everything else is literally getting spanked and wrecked.
Yep. It's amazing to see. And just when we had Hex Info, I don't know if he was on here or he was on Discourse Syndicate with Brian, but he was taking so much shit on Twitter. He was
oh my God, yeah, he was getting beat down. Like,
I mean, people were hammering him.
Not anymore though.
Came on and he was so calm, so just like down to earth. And just such a cool dude that for all the shit that he took, I could not believe he wasn't like ready to just, snap, for 2 days of being called a scam artist and and he was awesome to talk to. And that this is awesome. There's something here.
Brilliant dude, really smart kid, man. Whoever he is, he's a smart person. I think he did a great job putting this coin together. And something so simple but it's really he made so many good points. I was like, I can't disagree with him, man. Like he's just made so like the whole point of like, okay, well, someone's gonna make a meme coin on Pulse Chain. Like someone's gonna, might as well be us, right? Might as well be someone in the community.
Yes.
Building something and its origins was all just a reward and a gift to the best crypto holders in all of crypto.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
To kind of like piggyback off that comment that you're making. So if HEX has the best holders in all of crypto, which we would all agree that it does because of the staker class, then you might argue you might make the argument that Pulse Doge actually has the best holders out of that group. It's like a more refined group.
It is.
You can't stake it, but let's think about it this way, right? So free claimers, they're just gonna a lot of them are just gonna free claim and dump. That's fine. People cash out. We don't care. Please sell it.
Hell yeah.
Sell your free claim. We don't care. We actually want all those guys out during the claim phase, 100-day claim phase.
I hope it stays at 7 million max.
Yeah. I mean, it probably will be somewhere. Honestly, the supply will probably be somewhere between 5 and 6 million.
That's what I think too. I don't think it's going that much higher than it is right now.
Yeah,
we got 4.63 right now. So.
Maybe it'll get to 5. That'd be my guess. That's it.
Got what?
You also have the OA and the BA at the end that could mint
6 weeks.
10 tokens per claimed address. So then when you factor in those amounts, so if you if you click on go to hold on a second. Let's see. Click on you can zoom out. Zoom out. No,
No, I'm sorry. I'm trying here.
Okay. Click on the contract address. Then click on Pulse Dogecoin where that logo's at. You click on that. What am I looking for? No, not the analytics. Go back a page. Or click on the contract address again. Sorry. I'm a little bit tired. Sorry.
No, there's no problem.
Yeah, now go to fuck.
Contract.
No, I don't want contract. I want where I can see the claims. Click on Pulse Doge again.
Oh, I think that's
no, not there. Click on the logo on the top right, the tracker.
Oh, it's in transactions.
Nah. Contract. Click on contract. There you go. Scroll down. Click on number of claims, number 9.
Oh, there it is. Look at that.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
existed.
so there's been 20,139 claims.
Yep.
The total claimable addresses is somewhere around 82,000 and change, right?
Wow. Okay. Wow.
And so the OA and the BA, they can claim 10 tokens per address that's claimed. So just multiply that by 10. Let's just do for quick math. Let's say 20,000 times 10, 200,000 times 2. So basically about 400,000 more tokens. That's just quick math. It'll be a little bit more.
That puts us at 5 million.
And that puts us right at 5.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So we're definitely over 5. So now we'll probably be somewhere between 5 and 6 million. And then somebody made a good comment about the Merkle tree, Hexagon 720. Yep. Merkle tree was the last question mark. And I mean, that FUD was like just destroyed because you had independent devs. U.S. Coast Guard was one, and there were some other ones as well that just looked. They were able to actually recreate the Merkle tree with information that they got from hex.info. And they know, like, by doing that, it just gives confidence to everyone that, like, hey, there's no hidden addresses that could like mint tokens that we don't know about because we're able to verify the Merkle tree. I don't know like anything about Merkle tree. I'm just like total pleb in that. But
I saw that Hexagon 720 said Merkle tree was. I was like, sounds good, man. No idea what you're talking about.
Basically a bunch of magic shit. Can devs do something? Yes, devs did something. Like a bunch of magic shit happened in the background.
I love it.
Awesome.
I don't know what Morbin time means.
I don't know. What's up, Brissology?
Brissology,
man.
Oh, I noticed Brissology's listening to all these streams. I don't think he really likes Pulse Doge, but I noticed he's listening. So if you're listening, I find that interesting because maybe like maybe you like the price chart or something, or maybe.
Brissology, he minted his pulse though. Don't let him fool you.
So he's playing like a chess game here.
I love it, man. I've always been curious to see what a true coin that can't be affected by, manipulation, really, what it will do in a bear market.
Yeah, so all markets are subject to like what you would refer to as maybe manipulation. So for example, you could have some malicious player that comes in and maybe buys up the asset quickly, creates like FOMO, and then other players buy in and they just mega dump on everyone.
Yeah.
It would be really stupid to do that with Pulse Doge because of low liquidity. They probably would eat fat slippage. They probably drive the price up against themselves. And then if they wanted to exit, well, guess what? They would eat fat slippage on the way down and also drive the price down against themselves too. So in one sense, it'd just be really, really stupid. But I like the setup. I've looked at some of the larger players. David Federer, yeah.
Yeah. Shout out
I like having David Federer involved with Pulse Doge. I don't know how involved, but I like that he likes this.
Oh yeah,
one of my favorite Hexkins. So yeah,
David, shout out David Feeder. Yeah, I had the pleasure of having dinner with David.
Nice.
In my city when what's it called, Crypto Sparbuck came into town. That was pretty cool. We had the little meetup and got to meet like Maddie and David Feeder was there and some other people. Whales, just there was a good mix of people that were there. We got to chill with and yeah, David T Money. He was David Feeder was there. He was my my dinner guest. So we had some good chats about some things. So it was a good time. Definitely shout out Mr. Feeder. He's a good dude.
He's insanely intelligent. I've listened to him on different streams. I like his character and personality and spirit, and I think he brings a lot to the table, and I'm glad that he's involved with all the assets that we hold.
Yes,
he's just listening to him talk. I mean, I'm not on the coding side or tech side at all. I just do more of the research and deep dives and stuff, and shout out to him.
You gotta reach out to players like David. Did I say Feeder or Federer? I'm not sure how the correct pronunciation, but Federer. But Albany, New York meetup was great. Oh,
yeah,
nice. I think you really need to listen to players like David and also U.S. Coast Guard. There's some other like well-known devs in the HEX community. Before you buy something, you might just ask them like, "Hey, would you mind just taking a look at the code?" And a lot of these guys are really generous with their time. They live busy lives, but they might be willing to just like take a look at it, peer through it, because they're also curious, and that could potentially save you from making some poor decisions.
Absolutely. Good tip right there.
Are there anything that you look at? Because I look at it like the Richard Hart, everything that's one ecosystem.
Yeah,
I try to try to find 2 or 3, in case if Richard had a heart attack tomorrow and died, how devastating would that be for HEX over the next 6-12 months? I just sort of try to think, if that happened, am I going to be wrecked completely? So trying to have a couple different ways or exposure to crypto.
I don't think HEX dies if Richard dies.
I don't think so either.
Not. No, I think
it might take a hit because I mean it is obviously he's like one of the driving forces for its marketing. Clearly, but like otherwise, I think it might take a little hit like initially, but overall, I think it would live on just fine.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting too. David also making a comment about like, this is my first meme token. Usually I hate dog coins, but it's something different. I've had that same mentality too.
Yep.
But then with this, like the fact that it was given to HEX stakers for free and it was designed so well. And even though the code is really simple, it's like almost like perfect. It's like elegant. There's nothing fancy, nothing crazy.
You've got centralized ownership with whales. You've got a scarce supply that's hard capped once the claim phase ends. You have just some really cool stuff like even like the sock stuff and the NFTs. Like I've never been involved with anything like that, but like I think it's cool. Like DP is a guy that's been working like with the sock DAO. Basically, like if you want to get a pair of you probably laugh, like you could actually get a pair of like physical socks with Pulse Doge, and you might think, well, that's just stupid, right? But honestly, it's kind of cool. Let's see what he's saying. Maybe this is more important for me to read. I think it would add a lot of trust if Günther market sold all his Pulse Doge and drove the price into the dirt, then gave everyone a 48-hour window to buy Pulse Doge, then Günther market buys back. No.
Versology, what are you doing, man?
I decided to put that up there.
While that is funny, since I have the title of the Rugger of Hedron, I could just say that top wallets, whoever owned them, will never market sell a single Pulse Doge token.
Nice.
If there is any type of extracting value, it will be done so at certain, like maybe key price points. How can we trust it? Yeah, it's a good question. I'll answer that in a second. All right. So if there's any type of extracting value, it would be done at certain like major price points. Maybe the price goes up 100x, right? I'm just throwing out an arbitrary number, like nobody knows, right? But like, let's say the price goes up like 100 times in value from like the all-time low. Maybe some whales decide, okay, I want to maybe take 1% profit, right? I'm just throwing out random arbitrary numbers. Nobody knows what these players will do. But if they take 1% profit, they could do so in a very responsible way by creating one-sided V3 Uniswap positions. And so what happens is you create a unique, you're basically creating like a unique LP position at a certain price range, right?
Yeah.
Let's say the price is, let's say 100x from like current price. Let's say the price goes like $400 per Pulse Doge token, right? Well, they could be like, okay, maybe I'll between the prices of, let's say, $380 and let's say like $400, maybe they put 1% of their Pulse Doge position into that unique liquidity pool. So as buyers step into the market and they're buying Pulse Doge tokens, then they could buy directly from that liquidity pool and then leave behind USDC, for example. So we're talking about like Pulse Doge USDC pair. There's also a Pulse Doge HEX pair as well.
Oh, yeah.
So that would be a very responsible way for larger players to extract value because they're actually not murdering the price chart. In fact, they're letting a little bit more of tokens come into circulation, which is probably good for this kind of token because it has zero inflation and it has a very low supply. So like this would be a way of where buyers actually buy up the pool. So by the time the price gets to, let's say, so in the example we were talking about $380 to $400. So I kind of lost my train of thought. Anyway, the point is the buyers would buy up the Pulse Doge from the pool, leave behind USDC. The whale can extract some value, but in a very responsible way where it's not murdering the price chart. So we're trying to teach everyone in Pulse Doge how to like set buy walls when you're buying in, and then also how to set like responsible sell walls. Like no one should really be market selling if they have like a large position. The whales could also do over-the-counter trades with one another. So if one whale decides like, hey, I want to maybe decrease my position, but there's another whale that's like, damn, I wish I had like maybe 50,000 more tokens, then maybe they can do an over-the-counter trade with each other. And that also would protect the price chart. So I think a lot of us have learned from some of our mistakes. Me personally, I learned from my mistake with Hedron, market dumping and just blitz dumping. And, you know, like that's not an intelligent way to extract value. Obviously, no one can just like trust what people say, right? Like Brazology was like, well, we can't just like trust you. But honestly, that risk exists in any asset. Can you trust like any asset that you hold that whales will never sell, right? it's hard. The only one that's really demonstrated that to me is like Richard Hart with like
Right.
So, but yeah, I don't know if that's like helpful for people. We do want to instill confidence and trust and faith. And just because we've made mistakes in the past does not necessarily imply that we can't evolve and learn from those mistakes. That's the only point I could really make on that.
So I actually wanted to ask you, how did you, Gunther, how did you get into HEX? Like, how did you find Richard? Like, how did you get into HEX? And then what led you to do the OA audit?
Yeah, so good questions. So I got into HEX on day one. One of my brothers said like, hey, you should look into HEX. At the time, I was feeling pretty disillusioned about crypto. Like I was actually ready to walk away from all of crypto. I was like, I like it. Gorilla training, how to hodl. Nice.
Hell yeah.
Sorry, it's just waving bye to the young people going out to have a good time. I was very thanks.
What's up, Brand?
This another great Hexacan, one of my favorite Hexacans.
Oh, absolutely. Such a positive dude, man. Such a good message all the time.
Yep.
He's like a mini Richard Hart. Every time I see him, I'm like, damn, that guy is going to be like billionaire for sure.
Right. Oh yeah.
But yeah, I was feeling very disillusioned with crypto. I hated what I saw. I hated trading. The Hex Legends, like definitely. I just like I was just ready to walk away from it all. And my brother's like, hey, look into Hex. And I looked into Hex maybe a couple days before it launched. And I instantly understood its value proposition. I was like, this is fucking amazing. You could buy it. You just fucking stake it. You don't have to worry about it. You don't trade. Like Richard just sold it in such an appealing way. And you can earn interest. Like I didn't understand all the like nuances of like, no, at that time, nobody understood.
Nobody understood
ladders or, you know what I mean? Like any of that stuff or rolling stakes or whatever, all that stuff came later. But I love the value proposition. So on day one, actually, but let's back up a little bit before day one. I didn't have that much money. I was holding this like shit coin from crypto.com. By the way, fuck crypto.com. You guys putting money into crypto.com, it's such a risk. This company from Hong Kong that can fucking hold your money hostage. They created that shit coin MCO, and then they rug pulled it, and then they put the money in CRO, and then everybody bought that piece of shit coin. And then like I've had my money held hostage on that little app. And then if you put money on the debit card and swipe that debit card, guess what? You just created a whole bunch of taxable events for you. And the IRS is going to send you a fat bill in the mail. I know by experience. Paid a very fat bill to the IRS because they report directly to the IRS. Please do not use that piece of shit trash exchange. Like there's some or the app. Fuck them. Anyway, I hate crypto.com. You try to like talk to support from fucking Hong Kong. Like nobody understands what you're saying. But anyway, I had my money MCO and I was like, fuck this. I don't care if I've taken a total loss on this asset. Not a total loss, but I lost a lot of money. I swapped whatever I had for Hex. Actually, I first swapped for Bitcoin so that I could free claim Hex.
Right.
And then I fucking swapped back for ETH and then entered the adoption amplifier with the ETH. The big mistake that I made, so I put $8,000 into Hex on day one. But how did I get the $8,000? Because from the MCO, I only really had like a couple thousand. It's like $2,000 or $3,000 at the time. What I did was I was working at a wind farm, and I've told people in some other streams, I was working at a wind farm in Ohio and living in Indiana. And they needed some help. They needed some guys to go to Texas to work at another wind farm, dangerous ass fucking wind farm, where like high probability you could die because they don't care about blue collared workers. They don't care about following the safety regulations. Like they tell you one thing, and then they're like, "Oh, sure, go out to that turbine," even though there's fucking ice falling from the blades at 300 feet, and the ice could literally split your brain, like literally just like split your brain like in two. Anyway, fuck you guys too for not keeping us safe. EDP renewables. But yeah. Oh no, Brizology, you're good, man. Like you have every right to doubt me or whatever. That's no problem, buddy. But anyway, So I offered my services. I was like, you guys want to send me to Texas to help out at this dangerous wind farm because they're like understaffed and like it's an old wind farm. They needed more help. So I volunteered, and what's cool about I volunteered to go for like a month or whatever. But what's cool about that is as a wind turbine technician, if you're traveling for like EDP Renewables or other companies, they pay you per diem, so you get like your wages. At a wind farm like that, you have a lot of overtime. These guys working like 50 to 60 hours a week, just slaving away, trying to provide for their families, put food on the table, pay the bills. But they give you the per diem. The per diem is $152 a day, tax free. Yep. In addition to your wages, plus you're working overtime. So I was like, yep, sign me up. I'm just some poor, broke, wrecked pleb trying to like survive. It's more money I could put into crypto. So I went to this farm and I was working like 14-hour days. My coworker and I were staying at this this fucking campsite that was like 30 or 40 minutes from the wind farm because we didn't want to like spend the money on like a motel. We're like basically pinching pennies.
Right.
Dreams into memes. I love it. Yeah. So we would buy like snacks at like the fucking dollar store. We were buying like ramen noodles, like refried beans, bacon, or whatever, and we just cook over the campfire and shit. And it was a fun time. I had a great time with my friend James. Like we would just because we saw like in Texas, you see all kinds of bullshit, right? Like you see like there was like fucking rattlesnake that came out. I was like, fuck this. Like I stepped back and like my friend's like trying to beat it to death because we were like not trying to die. And then like cooked it over the fire, and then like I don't know, just a bunch of like crazy shit happening. You see like those what do you call those fucking animals that are known in Texas? Armadillos, is that the name?
Armadillo, yeah.
I saw armadillo and I was like so excited because I never seen one before, so I was like had the phone out. But anyway, it was a really cool time. But this was good because this allowed me to kind of save up my initial investment for HEX, and I came back home and I had the total amount I had was like $8,000, and I went in day one. Got totally wrecked. Price crashed 98%. I was fucking hating life. So then at that point, I decided to take a risk, and I reached out to the director of operations for all of North America for EDP, and I was like, "Hey, can you send me to Texas for like a year? Like, I'm willing to like help out this wind farm that needs extra workers. Like I don't mind like I have no family here because at the time my daughter was living in a different state, and so I had some flexibility. So everyone at the wind farm was like, no, the director of operations is never going to sign off on this. They're never going to agree to that. You're going to stay here and whatever. These guys were all like trying to keep me back there, and I had a vision for HEX because I knew the biggest problem that I always had with crypto is I never had enough fucking money to put into crypto. It was always like bills that had to pay, or just like whatever, clothing or food, or just like basic stuff to survive. Well, it turns out the director of operation was like, yep, signed off, allowed me to go there for an entire year.
Nice.
While I was earning per diem, while I was working basically 50 to 60 hours every week. And so what I did was I fucking rented a house that was like 10 minutes from the wind farm. Nice 3-bedroom house, was paying like $1,500 a month, living very frugally, driving this fucking old ass 1987 Jeep Cherokee that I bought for like $700. That was like on its last leg, always giving me fucking problems. Anyway, I just slaving away at this wind farm this whole time. Really, really dangerous work. Like you're dealing with fucking generators that are like the size of like a whole entire room. Like when you get up tower, like shit's really big up there, it turns out. And shit's really hot. And like if you fuck up, you could die in the back of an electrical cabinet. There's just so many risks. Like you'd like travel out to like the nose cone where the blades connect to like a hub, and you travel out there and you'd be like looking at the supports and you'd be like, what the fuck? This is like cracked. Like you could see the welds cracked and separating, and it's just like, god damn, this shit's fucking dangerous. Obviously you'd like tie off to like be safe and secure or whatever, but this shit's fucking dangerous. So anyway, this whole time I'm like working at this wind farm, trying to become a better technician, trying to help out this wind farm, but also I was I was just buying HEX. I would be up tower like buying HEX, and I was a pleb. Like I was even doing like MetaMask swaps at the time because I didn't know any better. And now we laugh at like people that swap on MetaMask. Me and some of my friends.
Yeah.
They're like, you guys are like, not only do you guys like sell like 40 million HEX at some set price or whatever, and then like you ate slippage and like dumped the price down on your own head, but like you swapped on MetaMask too, and you basically middleman dick where you gave them like a fee. Now it's like funny, right? Because like,
Yeah.
But anyway, long story short, I put about 30 to 40% of every paycheck into HEX. I would just buy it, stake it, buy it, stake it, buy it, stake it. And I did that for a full year. And I told everyone at both wind farms, I was like, you guys need to listen to me. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to retire by the end of this year. And when December 31st came around in 2020, retired.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Retired. And then after I retired, some malicious players, let's just say, just mega dumped the price of HEX and crashed it down, and it would drop like almost 90%. But I had a fail safe to account for any type of like activity like that. But that's basically what happened. Now here I am. I'm living the dream, shilling the memes, trying to make a lot of smaller players wealthy because I came from nothing. And I can feel their pain. I see the pain that people are going through. I walk down the street and it fucking brings tears to my fucking eyes when I see people slaving away at the fucking laundromat or, you walk to the grocery store. Like even in Texas, I saw this guy who was like 80 years old, like fucking working and stuff. And that shit makes me fucking sad because like I know these people are, struggling to survive. So I want to make a lot of poor people wealthy. And I learned from Richard and I know how to do it. And that's one of the things that attracts me to a token like Pulse Doge. Anyway, sorry, I'm kind of tearing up. I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm the same way. That's funny you saying that. When we just moved some of that furniture out here the other week to Buffalo, I went and rented a huge budget truck, and the kid that was working at the budget office was probably like 20, 22 years old, like super young kid. And he was talking about like, he invested a little bit in stocks. And I was just like, here, man, go to hex.com and just look into this. And I gave him my business card and was like, you're young enough. And I promise you, if you can get into this now, you'll never have to work in 10 years. And he looked at me like I was crazy. But I the same way. I saw this kid there and I'm like, man, if I could be that young again, oh my God. And it's just like, you see these people and you feel horrible knowing that this kid's going to turn into an old man behind that desk. And he could just put 20% of his paycheck into HEX and other assets, and his life will be completely in a different place than it would be if he hadn't found HEX or cryptos or just even HBAR. I like Hedera Hashgraph. I'm bullish on it because of partnerships they have with their governing council and the fact that I'm getting 45% on staking right now. So I mean, right now the downside risk is maybe 50% if we go lower, but you're getting that in staking. So even though if the fundamentals might not be there, I don't discriminate on a coin. If there's money to be made, I'm all in. I'm not gonna not buy something or do this because I can't do that because HEX is the only crypto. I don't like that mentality. I'm all about bringing people into the community with us, not trying to not separate us, but just kind of bring us together, not alienate us from other communities.
Definitely. What is this guy talking about in the chat?
Who, Optimus Prime?
Yeah.
So I think he just wants people to be. He probably just wants people to be aware of like risks, but like the problem is, I don't know what so he's talking about MetaMask token or whatever. The thing is that
I see some of the larger players that are in Pulse Doge are hex stakers, and they're like sharks with like amazing staking ladders, and some of them are dolphins. And I think that would suggest that these players, I've even seen one wallet I saw that was buying Pulse Doge has like some crazy amount of T shares, like maybe like 76,000 T shares.
Wow.
I was paying attention to that because that's an insane amount.
That's yeah.
Wow.
I think so. Like, and I kind of alluded to this earlier. If HEX has the best holders in all of crypto because of the staker class, what do you think that will do for a token like Pulse Doge if some of those like key players have whale positions in Pulse Doge? They know how to fucking hold. We don't need a staking mechanism to know how to hold, right? Like we know that an asset can perform very well if we hold the asset up and protect and defend the price. We just let all these free claimers just mega dump, and we just buy up the asset and hoard it, and we maybe let a small amount trickle into circulation over time. That way it gives people an opportunity that don't have a position, they can build their position. So I understand what Optimus Prime 369 is saying. It's a fair point. You need to be careful where you put your money. But I would personally, if I was in the shoes of other people, I would rather put my money into something where those wallets, you could use chain analysis and kind of like go through those wallets and kind of look at their behavior, look at their staking ladders. Go to stakehex.today. By the way, brilliant website.
Oh yeah.
That was put together by Keenall. Many people don't maybe not.
I had him on my show actually right after he launched that website, and he kind of showed us all the functionality of it, like right when he first launched it. It was a great stream, and he was a great guest, man. He created a really awesome tool, and I love it. I use it all the time when I'm getting my shows together. You know, if I'm getting wallets I want to check out, I always am plugging them in to that tool that he created, man. Love it.
Yeah, this is beautiful because if you have several wallets that you own yourself, you can just
comma separate
them, and then you can see your entire position.
Yeah,
and it's beautiful. Like you could see how things have performed, and maybe some of the stakes haven't performed that well, but it's okay. You can look at other ones that have performed, and even if you're underwater, it's okay. Just give it time.
Yeah. I did that for Godwell. Actually, I took Godwell's 3 known addresses. I plugged them into I did that one stream. I had like a Godwell stream, and I plugged those 3 and comma separated them into stakehex.today, and just did some moon boy stuff, like with, you play around with the sliders, and you can play around with the payout and the price and everything. And just like, I mean, this dude's going to be like the first trillionaire. Godwell's crazy, man. It's insane.
Yeah. I fucking love Godwell. I
know
Godwell's been a little bit quiet lately, and I think that Godwell, I don't know who Godwell is, right? He does have a Twitter account, the real Godwell, he or she, whoever it is.
Yeah, he verified it. I remember when that happened.
But the real Godwell, I think the real Godwell took a break from buying.
Yeah,
because he or she probably realized that all of their money was being used as like exit liquidity by these mega dumpers. And it's not really an efficient use of capital for the Godwell to just keep injecting money into these like sewer rats that just keep dumping the price down. I don't want to put people down. Maybe that's not the right term, because everyone has the right to take profit and like enjoy life. They could cash out for fucking multi-million-dollar homes, for fucking supercars, for all that stuff, fancy joy. Everyone has that right. So I don't want to say it that way. The ones that I would classify as like sewer rats are like people with like malicious intent or evil intent, or like they'll purposely crash the market so that they could put fear and panic into the market and like scoop a stronger position and strengthen their own bags. I fucking cannot stand players like that. I hate players like that. And I really hope that with Pulse Doge, it's different, that we could attract whales that are more benevolent. Like, have you seen any whales yet?
mega dump the price down to short the market so that they could like shake people out and then gain a stronger position. I haven't seen that.
Nope.
And it doesn't mean that it couldn't happen, because maybe there's some sneaky guys that have kind of snuck in, and maybe they'll try to like murder the price later. But we're just hoping that we can, I guess, have like a stronger, just like a strong, a more healthy environment where you have whales that actually care about the smaller players. And I know a lot of people view me as like, oh, we can't trust you. You like mega dumped Hedron. And I get that. Like, that's a fair argument. You know,
what you did? I didn't even know that. I had no idea that was.
Yeah, I dumped. Oh, that's kind of cool. I dumped Hedron close to the top, and a lot of people know about it. And like I have, you know, there's, you know, I talked about this on some other streams. But the fact of the matter is, like, people like me, like, actually care about people in the world. I'm a very generous, altruistic person. You could ask some of the people actually in this chat. I've helped people out in the early days of HEX, or helped them out with Pulse Doge, or like even just like some of my friends, like I'll just send them some tokens because I want to better their life. Even just like everyday stuff, like going out to restaurants, even in a bear market. Like if I go out to a restaurant, sit down with my daughter or sit down with like some friends or whatever, and we spend like, you know, maybe we spend $100 for a meal. Well, we're leaving like a $50 tip because we know that people are struggling in life, and that's real cash in their pockets that they can use for their families, and also just injecting money. I think it's really important if you've made like money with like HEX and some other crypto assets, start injecting that money into places. Take your laundry to the laundromat. Guess what? You don't have to fucking wash it or dry it or fold it. They'll do it for you, and you could leave them a nice $100 cash tip, or hire like a cleaning lady where they like free up your time. You could spend more of your time trying to like grow your assets and like pump everyone's bags and do live streams and like be in like Telegram chats, just helping people for free. Let them spend their time and put in their hard work and energy to maybe clean your apartment or your house, and then you could pay them well. Instead of, maybe your cleaning lady only asks for $120, but maybe every time they show up, they get $400 in cash. This is a way of injecting real money and putting it into the hands of real people that have families that are trying to survive in this harsh world, and they don't know the shit that we know. They don't understand fucking crypto shit. They don't understand MetaMask. They don't understand hardware devices, seed words, none of this bullshit. This shit is really fucking complicated for your average person. So I guess I just want to drive home the point. Start injecting your money into things and make people's lives better, even if it's just sending, you know, maybe you got a sister or somebody that's like struggling and you've done well in HEX. Cut her a check for $25,000 and send it to her. Maybe you could really make their life better. Or maybe, you know, some single mom that got into a car crash and doesn't have a car to get around. Send her $25,000 and help her just buy a car with no car payment to ease the burden. My point is, be generous. Don't be stingy, greedy fucks. HEX has created so many greedy people. I cannot stand the greed. That I'm not talking about everyone, right? I'm just saying in general. I've seen a lot of greedy people and a lot of ungrateful fucks. Fuck you guys. Fuck you. You're not making the world better. Give that money away, or hire people to do jobs and give it away. Create opportunities for people, make their lives better. And guess what? In the end of the day, you will be happy. You actually will be happy. You will actually sleep well, not only because you're a HEX staker, but you'll sleep well because you're actually producing a positive effect in the world, and you're making like a real change, even if it's only in the lives of just like a small handful of people in your community. Do whatever you believe in, whether it's like giving money to like a church or to like a food shelter or buying clothes for someone. Maybe you meet somebody and it's just some fucking bum on the street, and maybe you don't know if he's going to use it on drugs or alcohol. Fuck it. Give him $100 bill and walk away.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. You want to make someone smile, man. Fucking if you're driving, right, and there's someone on the corner just, you know, panhandling, throw them a 20 or a 50 or 100 or, you know, you will make their fucking day, man. I mean, that like, who cares what they're using it for?
Yeah.
Just make them happy, man, in the moment. Help them out. Go, they'd be able to go get a sandwich and, you know, whatever else it is that they want. They want to get a pint of liquor. I don't give a shit, man. It makes your day easier. Go for it. You know what I mean? I'm not, it's just freaking, and that is such a good point, man. I love, you know, I've worked in services industry. I know how big it is when you get a nice tip, man. It just, I mean, it just makes your day, it makes your whole night. It makes, you know, it really makes a huge difference in someone's life, man. I love that.
You'll
I
have
love
people
that.
you have people that come back to you and you're just like, hey, thank you so much for like that tip. I was not expecting that. It's been slow tonight. Like it's the small things, right? The small things make people's lives much better. And I think, and then also let me just kind of add onto this stuff too. You know, if you can create an asset like this and people like who you are and like what you represent, and they like your background, or maybe they like your morals or your principles or what you stand for, they you could potentially attract a large following of people that want to follow you, especially if you came from nothing and now you're a self-made multimillionaire that wants to create other millionaires. They might start actually listening. And if we could create an audience where they do listen, then we could actually impact a lot of people's lives and make their lives better. So, like, for example, I just went on Twitter recently. I just started in May. I think I don't know what the last time I checked, maybe a little bit less than 3,000 followers. Not too bad for like a few weeks.
Yeah.
But honestly, to me, those are like pleb numbers. I'd like to see like a million people following me, or 10 million people, because I think I could teach them how to create wealth, because I learned from the right people. I learned from Richard Hart. I learned from the John Wick, the legendary John Wick. I learned from the Scotty Does Know. I learned from all of these major players.
Ski Cat,
whether it's Ski Cat or Keenall anyway, I don't want to like just start listing off a bunch of names, but I learned from a lot of important people. Whether it's T-Don learning about security, or Jexa, like learning how to like store seed words on, in the most secure way. Like you just learn from a lot of these people. This is why I think people should go into the Telegram chats, join us in the Pulse Doge Telegram chat. You could learn a lot. If you read these chats every day for 2 consecutive years, and you literally read them for like all day, you just take breaks to like take a shower, to eat, or go for a walk, or whatever. You just go about your daily life, but you read through these chats, you will literally learn how to become a multimillionaire, because the people know you just have to find the right people to listen to. But I've learned about like LP positions from The Future Is Cheap Now. I've learned so much from people like Ryan Lopez. You just learn from these like people that just know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. And if you could start to pay attention to what they're doing and lay aside your ego and your pride, you could really learn a lot. And that knowledge translates into making millions and millions of dollars in crypto.
And
no doubt.
Sorry, I'm kind of rambling. Sorry.
and that now, and people, like we were saying earlier, now is when those millionaires are made. People that are looking at this right here and saying, okay, this is an opportunity. HEX is down 25%. Let me buy. So many people go to this and say, oh my God, Graph's up 18%. I got to FOMO into that. And they look at it.
Yeah.
You sell out of a position, you FOMO into Graph, and now Graph comes down 10% tomorrow. The coin you sold pumps up 8%. And then you just start wrecking yourself. And I've seen it so many times. And I've spent so many hours trying to tell people, do not buy that coin. Don't do that. Just buy HEX and stake it. Just buy, Hedera and stake it. Just buy Polkadot and stake it for 20%, just so you're not trading. Do anything but trade, so you can just accumulate interest and not wreck yourself. And the people that take that advice are doing phenomenal. And the people that don't listen and get into the memes and Ethereum Max, and you don't ever hear back from them.
Ethereum Max.
Yeah, I think Brizology has some good questions here. I just don't, or some statements too. I just don't think Pulse Doge is the way to get to millionaire status, or who in their right mind will buy this coin at $120 each. Have you looked at Doge chart or Shiba chart or any of these other meme tokens that have performed very well? And I think you might be making the argument that, okay, it has scarce supply, and so people are scared by that because there's like a unit bias versus like scarcity like play here. Like we're definitely going with a scarcity play, right? But usually tokens like have like a high supply. That way the price doesn't sound so like ostentatious, I guess, or just ludicrous. The thing is, what about Bitcoin though? Okay, it was basically a very scarce supply. Even Pulsar is even more scarce, and Bitcoin went to $69,000. So that's my counter argument. Bitcoin started at sub 1 penny. People never thought it could even reach a penny, and then it reached 10 cents, and then it reached $1, and then it reached $10, and then it reached $100, and then it notice I'm doing multiples of 10, and then it reached $1,000, then it reached $10,000, and then everyone thought it would go to 100,000. Like, nope, fuck you, 69,000 is the peak. Now it gets wrecked. Point is that like it doesn't, at the end of the day, people only care about making money. It doesn't matter if it's it's funny. Pulse Doge will probably be the first copy. I think it'll probably be the first copycat coin that literally outperforms its predecessor. Like, you never see that. You don't see pull up the chart of Axion and Wise and look how mega wrecked they got. Literally going to zero, worthless piece of shit, trash coins that suck. It's rest in peace forever. But in this instance, I think you'd be dead wrong to think that Pulse Doge, a copycat of Doge, that it would suck, because Pulse Doge solves all the problems that Doge has. So Doge hyperinflates at 10,000 tokens per minute. You literally need to inject about $420 million per year just to paint the price of Doge sideways at 8 cents. Imagine if you put $420 million in a token like Pulse Doge, where it has centralized ownership, benevolent whales, scarcity, zero inflation. And then you also have where we kind of mentioned, I kind of like alluded to this earlier. So there's this, I don't know how the socks thing will play out. Like DP is more of an expert with this. I think at some point maybe other streams could have DP on, because like that's more a specialty. But with Pulse Doge, you could actually take some of your position and you could buy a physical pair of socks, right? So when Pulse Doge first started going, when the sock DAO was first created, you could send one Pulse Doge to an ETH address that's the sock DAO, and you would get one sock, not a pair. You just get one. I don't know why it was designed that way. Like, why do you only get one sock? That's stupid. Why would you design it that way? That's my only constructive criticism, my only critique. Anyway, you get one sock and you get an NFT that doesn't exist yet. You're just put on basically a spreadsheet. We'll go through the transactions in the ETH address, and then eventually you'll get an NFT. And those NFTs are, by the way, real art created from female artists, because we want to actually reward those artists, right? But now it's interesting. This actually has what's called sockonomics instead of tokenomics. Kind of fun, right? Right, it's kind of fun. Something different. It first started out where you said one Pulse Doge, you get one sock, right? Well, it ratchets up after a certain amount of orders are filled. So that those orders filled up really quickly, and I didn't even realize what was happening. I didn't realize until we were at like. So anyway, it ratchets up exponentially. It's 1, then it's 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512. Okay, that's exponential growth, by the way. Sorry, I did that kind of fast. Now it's 128 Pulse Doge for one fucking sock.
Wow.
So if you want a pair of physical socks, it's 256 Pulse Doge. but look at the price of Pulse. It's like $4. Quick math, 250 times
It's like
four.
$1,000.
Roughly, it's more than $1,000 for a pair of physical socks. Hey, the price chart of Unisocks enters the chat. Have you ever looked at that price chart? It went up 397 million times in value in 1 month. What?
Oh my God.
Crazy price performance. It turns out you could also, when you get your NFT, you could actually exchange it for a pair of physical socks. So the socks are kind of like it's kind of just like a fun thing to do. You could market Pulse Doge by wearing the socks, but it's also kind of like a limited, like rare edition. So that's kind of cool. Something different, something to make it fun.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and it's a Louis Vuitton pattern on the actual sock. We've actually posted some images of that on Twitter. It's kind of cool.
Beautiful.
Anyway, I probably did enough talking. Maybe if anyone has any questions or
there was some result. He was saying what he was saying about all of us rallying under the Pulse Chain banner right here. This is all I wanted to touch on because
but hold on, before we get into anything, I gotta jump off. I hate to jump, but I gotta peace out. You guys keep going. I had an awesome stream. That was a really, really good time. And hopefully we can do it again soon.
Dude, yeah, thanks for coming on, bro. Appreciate it.
Günther, man, thanks for coming on, man. Really appreciate it. Keep going. You guys keep doing your thing. I'm getting out of here. I gotta go to bed.
It was a pleasure. Have a good night, sir.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Thanks, everyone. Love you all. See you next week.
Awesome. So I was just wanted to say, just over the last month, I've been in Discords, in other NFT.com. I bought a Genesis key for that. It's an NFT. You get 4 profiles from NFT.com. Kevin O'Leary's into it. They did a good job marketing it. And I'm just in there with people that spent a half an ETH to get one of these keys. So you get access into the beta chat room. And there's so many whales in there that have no clue what Pulse Chain is. So I go in there and I'm talking to, Jordan Friedman, who's founded Hedera. He started the NFT.com. So they see all these chats. So I go in there and I say, hey guys, what are we going to do when we get our free copies on Pulse Chain? And immediately people were like, what are you talking about? And it just started this whole conversation where they were like, can you please not show any other? And I was like, I'm not showing it. I just want to know we're all going to have these keys on Pulse Chain. Are you going to do anything with them? And they were like, well, we're only going to use the Ethereum ones. We're only going to count those as Genesis keys. Anything else is whatever. But just the sheer amount of people that are, I wouldn't say whales, but deep pockets that did not know what Pulse Chain was. And it's just shocking that we take for granted that Pulse is going to come and it's going to do all these things. It's on each one of us to go out there and make it happen and let 5 people know every day. Go into a random Discord channel, an XRP channel or a Cardano channel, and just let people know what Pulse Chain is. And you'd be shocked the amount of people that will say, what's the world's 3 biggest airdrop? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I like it. I think we should also too, and you have to be very witty and clever, on Twitter, for example, in marketing things. I don't know if a lot of people have noticed this, but I try to market things as a package deal. I don't just put hashtag Pulse Doge. It's hashtag HEX, hashtag Pulse, hashtag Pulse X, Pulse Doge, or Hedron or Maximus or whatever, or Helgo or whatever. I try to support the assets that I want to see succeed and the assets that I think could make people wealthy. So I think it's really important to don't hyper focus on one asset. That's a very ineffective strategy for marketing. I think it's so much more intelligent. Like, hey, don't just advertise the grape flavored Skittle in a bag of Skittles. Sell the whole bag of Skittles, where every Skittle in the bag is an asset that we actually care about. Pulse, Pulse X, Hex, Pulse Doge. Those are like my favorite assets. There's others that you could consider and others that I can't really speak on because I just don't know enough about them. But I really like that idea of sell the bundled package. Don't just sell one thing. And I think we really need to like start really like outreaching to other communities. For example, for myself, I really don't like the cannibalization within HEX where we just keep recycling a bunch of money, the same amount of money recycled into these other within the same ecosystem. That's why like my primary focus, just me personally, and maybe other people feel like this way in the Pulse Doge community, we really want to like outreach to like all the meme coiners, all the people that we don't even know that have never heard of about us. We want to like make an emotional connection with those people and bring their money. We want to save those guys. Let's bring their money into a token like Pulse Doge. Let's teach them how to become wealthy. Let's teach them about security. Let's teach them about centralized ownership and about ownership of their private keys. Most of the people in crypto, they have no idea what they're doing. Like 99% of the people in crypto lose money. They just do not know what they're doing. They don't know who to listen to. And meme tokens are perfect because everyone's like, oh, it's got a dog buy button, and everyone like knows Doge globally. So why not just make a better form of Doge, get on the level with those guys so that there's a connection. And then once we establish that connection, we could start teaching them about HEX, building staking ladders. We could start teaching them about like why they should buy Pulse and PulseX, because these things naturally come up in like Telegram chats or on Twitter or other things. So it's perfect, but we need to draw in an audience, and that audience needs to be large, and we need to captivate their attention. And I think the way that we captivate their attention is just being real and genuine and honest and just like good people and like basically yeah, I think you get the point, right? Just be the best form or version of ourselves, make that emotional connection with these people so that we can influence them in a positive way and make their lives better and the lives of their family and friends better, basically.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's, right now, everything's getting wrecked right now, unless you got really lucky and found an NFT that's just popular, or you got in early to some pre-sale. I mean, everything is going down right now. There's really nothing going up. So there's going to be a lot of attention coming this way. So if we can just, every person you pull in now, that's going to snowball tenfold in 5-6 months when Pulse is launching. Once stuff is actually happening, once influencers are talking about it, once that happens, these influencers have nothing else to talk about. They're fudding the hell out of HEX now because it gets clicks.
Yeah.
The HEX community is, I think, the only streaming community that's staying steady or growing in viewers. No one's going anywhere because we all know what we own and why, where's there to go?
Yeah.
And everyone else is flooding around, running around, panicking while we're just sitting here like, we know it's coming. There's nothing wrong. This is normal for a bear market. Accumulate and just relax. And
long-term HEX stakers, man, they're just truly not really affected. Sure, you might be affected if you have like short-term stakes or like liquid HEX. Like we get it, it's painful, right? It hurts to like see your portfolio get fucked up and have your like paper gains sort of like go down the drain. But it's all temporary. Close the price chart, guys. Close the price chart. No big deal. Focus on other things and think about ways. I think it's important to think about ways where you could create tremendous economic mass and energy for yourself, possibly in other assets like, for example, Pulse Doge. And then you could later inject some of those profits into the assets that you care about, into HEX, into Pulse, into PulseX. But you can't do that. You can't create that economic mass and that economic energy if you don't inject some money and take some risk in these assets. You just have to make sure you do research and you don't over leverage yourself, and like you just are smart. Don't bet the farm, don't bet the house. Don't go crazy. Don't take out loans. Even though I started in crypto with $500 from a credit card, literally in 2017, I started with $500 in crypto from a credit card, and 5 years later became, self-made multimillionaire on paper, right? But the point is, these are great opportunities, and I think the best way to market something in a bear market is to have an asset that has fat green candles. People love face melting green candles that protrude through computer screens and go through your eyeballs and go through the roof of your houses and literally go up to fucking Saturn. They love that. People love green candles. They like when number goes up, when price goes up, when they make money. If you could look at this thing is up like 4.2x in the midst of a bloody bear market.
Yeah.
In a hyperinflationary phase where all supply is introduced overnight within the span of like 100 days, so that there's constant sell pressure from free claimers. But guess what? Because the number is going up, that means the buy pressure and the demand for the asset is greater than the sell pressure. If it wasn't the case, then the price would go down. But it's up 4.2x from the launch price, which is pretty fucking awesome, I think, in this bloody bear market.
Oh, I'm just I'm shocked at how. Actually, I'm not shocked. I'm. It's doing exactly what I figured. Just seeing something like this that is actually just in the hands of in the hands of good actors, almost not.
Yeah.
No, not people trying to dump, not there's a good, just organic feeling about Pulse Doge.
Yeah, it's growing very naturally and organically, even like the chat room.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean that there aren't bad players like in Pulse Doge already. I mean, we have actually seen some players that come in and like bought up their position and then like murdered the price, right? We've seen it, like Pulse Doge has like been very volatile. It's crashed like many times. And you do see even like free claimers like dump too. But the beauty of it is like the free claimers, they don't get that much. The highest free claimer for one address only gets 900 tokens. Okay, let's assume maybe a worst case scenario. Maybe they have like 5 addresses or something. And but even still, would they be a dolphin across 5 different addresses? I mean, some players might be, but it's probably more rare, right? Let's just assume though, the worst free claimer gets like 900 tokens. They could extract at like $4 and take out $3,600. That's like, it's no big deal, right? These players would actually be more, and even if these players held long term and never bought, I really don't have a problem with that. If somebody's going to get a free claim and they're going to hold it for 1,000x and they're a dolphin and they turn that into $900,000, much respect. I respect that player because it's okay. They didn't buy it. Fuck it. They got it for free. But you know what? You just turned a free claim into almost $1 million. Much respect. Go cash it out and enjoy life. Whatever. I don't care. But it's just nice to have like, it seems like we have some pretty good players like in this ecosystem, and we're trying to attract the right players. This is not some pump and dump scheme. We don't want those kind of players. We want players that will actually buy the asset and hoard it, like diamonds. And if you think about this, like whales get a lot of like a lot of people hate whales, like always hating on whales and judging whales. But come on, guys. Whales are the ones that move markets. They're the ones that inject hundreds of thousands of dollars into something when it's such great risk for their money. They're putting their capital at risk so that the token actually has a chance to like do well. If they don't inject capital, guess what? You don't see those fat green candles on the chart. You're not going to see it. It doesn't happen. And if the asset does really well, like let's say it does, nobody has a crystal ball, but let's say it goes up 100x or 1,000x or 10,000x or 100,000x or 1 millionx or 2 millionx. Like we're talking about long span of time, right? Like 10, 15 years. The only way that could happen is if the whales delay gratification for the longest period of time and let the smaller guys get wealthy. They actually are taking the most risk and just injecting the most capital and they're the ones delaying gratification for the longest period of time. So I think smaller players should just remember that, like, hey, like the larger players are risking a lot. They want to make you guys wealthy, but the only way you guys are going to get wealthy because you have a smaller position is if you guys hold for like a 10,000x, right? If you're going to cash out after a 5x, well, you make some good money, but like it's not life-changing wealth, and you're back to square one. You haven't really solved the money problem that exists in your life.
True. And plus you don't, if you're already in the coin, you have zero downside risk if you free claimed. So I mean, what there really is, I think half of that sell pressure is gone immediately because you didn't pay anything for it. What's the downside risk for a free claim?
Yeah, just hold it. Who cares?
Right.
Actually, a lot of people did that with HEX, and even though it sucks, they're putting sell pressure on the price now. I mean, I can't really be mad at some free claimer that like held for 2 years and then it's cashing out and making a lot of money. It kind of sucks that they never bought, maybe some of them, but some of them did. Some free claimers do buy. I think a lot of the big players in HEX, they originally free claimed. Not, I think, I know this for an absolute fact. It's the only way to get a large position in Pulse Doge. They free claimed and then they hit the buy button because they liked different qualities or characteristics about the asset. And so, anyway.
Yeah, I think this here, that right there, that's a major red flag. That is done in coins to prevent people from pumping and dumping. So you either need to hold the coin for 24 hours or they charge a 19% tax to flip it. So when you see that in these altcoins, stay away. That right there is literally put in there to prevent just full out collapses of a coin. Have you seen that? Some of the shit coins out there?
I mean, honestly, I don't engage with any tokens like that. I don't waste my time on that stuff.
Yep.
Like I do my research on high quality assets. I trust things like HEX and Pulse X. I would have never even looked at Pulse Doge unless there was a free claim. The free claim drew me in, which is like why I'm a fan of freemiums.
Yep.
Sort of like Richard is. I don't know if he still is, but like I know with HEX, he was a big fan of freemiums. Yeah. And it drew me in, and I did my research and I liked it. And it made me hit the buy button. That's what I can say. But I don't mess around. I'll look into other things that people create that I hear about. I haven't really done my research with Maximus, but I like the fact that you could buy it, that they're buying it and staking it for 15.2 years. I fully support anything that buys HEX and stakes it for the max length. I love it. Takes less HEX. It removes all that HEX from circulation. You can't end stake that. If you end stake that, like everyone loses. And I don't even think you can call the end stake function in Maximus until the stake actually ends. I think it's somehow written into the contract, if I remember correctly. I'm not an expert on it, so I can't really speak much about other than that. With Hedron, the only thing that sucks right now really is the price chart of Hedron, just the token itself. Maybe it could recover. I don't know. I don't know how it will do over time. I'm just being totally honest.
My problem with Hedron is where's the buy pressure going to come from? Because ideally just take your HEX and mint HSIs with them. Why do you need the Hedron coin?
You don't. Yeah, and I know Alex was trying to like find a way to like remove some sell pressure from HEX and then give people exit liquidity through Hedron. And there's some other aspects where the tokens get burned up, and like people could look into it more and do some research. I think for me personally, the strongest value proposition for Hedron is that if you're a large player in HEX, even a small player, you could let's assume for large players, right? You could take 100 million HEX and you could encapsulate it, and create that HSI on Hedron.pro. You can tokenize it as an NFT. You can list it on OpenSea. You can bundle the HSIs together. That's also a solid point.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
that's a solid point.
Yeah,
that's another way to increase your HEX stakes, your T-shares, which is awesome. Yeah. That's a solid value proposition. But then to finish the thought, you can list it on on OpenSea, it sucks. You do get that 2.5% fee, but you can sell it for USDC. And then the buyer that buys it now has a stronger HEX position. They have more T shares. You get USDC, and then you can go do whatever you want with USDC. You don't murder the price chart. You just do an over-the-counter trade. Just find another larger player in HEX that's willing to buy you out. Instead of just murdering the price chart for personal gain, you're going to murder the price chart, let it go down 90% so that you can get 10x the coins. Well, fuck you. Fuck you for murdering the price chart. Fuck you for selling like that. You could extract value with one-sided V3 Uniswap LP position, or you can extract value with over-the-counter trades with Hedron. People like Alex created that for you. Maybe you should start listening to those people, the people that are trying to improve the ecosystem and like HEX overall. But meanwhile, you guys want to fucking murder the price chart, or you guys don't want to learn and just be like the greatest plebs, you know, like driving the price down on your own heads, screwing with everyone else's wallets, and like doing MetaMask swaps and all that, like just in eating massive slippage. Fuck you guys. Fuck you. Right? I'm speaking not about smaller players that don't really know, because I understand a lot of people just don't know this stuff, right? But I'm talking about larger players that know better.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
All right.
That's
When you
fucked
see
up.
like, you know, like a $1 billion sale or something, that someone probably needs that cash real quick. You
Yeah.
know, that small little couple $1,000, that's people need that money. No one's doing that because they're trying to do anything with the price. Those people, that I totally understand. You know, people that don't have as much, they're not whales. They need the money. You know, that's great. You know, take it and sell it. I have no problem with that. Everyone needs to take the profits. You know that.
Yeah. No one's putting down people taking profits. The only constructive criticism, the only critique is the methodology for taking profits. You don't need to murder the price chart. Learn about how to create an LP position and extract via one-sided liquidity. Let other players buy up your HEX from your unique LP position and leave behind USDC, and then go spend that money, right? Because they're buying the asset up, which means it's putting buy pressure on the asset instead of just dumping the asset, eating fat slippage, driving the price down against yourself, doing MetaMask swaps, which only hurts you, getting wrecked with gas fees. You know, when you create the one-sided LP position, you only pay a gas fee to add liquidity and remove liquidity. While the price is trading in your specified price range, you're earning fees. There's just a bunch of trading going on in that range. Once that wall is eaten through, you're walking away with USDC and buyers just bought it up. Or if you want to create a buy wall in the other way, this actually happened in Pulse Doge. Let me give you an example. There was some wallet that basically pumped the price up to $5.04, and then kind of let the price like crash to like $3.69 and set up a $143,000 buy wall, which was extremely generous, between $3.69 and $3.31. What that whale was basically saying, hey, we know you guys free claim. We know it's a bear market. Let's give you some extra cash. Go ahead. Dump your position. Dump right into the LP. Like all the free claimers that dumped for chicken nuggets and fucking waffle fries from Chick-fil-A and whatever they want to use it for, whatever, we don't care. They literally dumped their tokens right into the hands of a whale. Retarded move, but they have that right to do so. It's fine. The point is that whoever set up that buy wall was just earning fees, was not having to keep clicking some hardware device. It was just let these players eat through it. By the way, that whale could have set up a buy wall from like $1 to like $1.10 or something, and just like basically just like had it like scooped up a bunch of more tokens. But I think that particular player was kind of like a generous gesture. Like, hey, we know you guys are struggling in bear market. We know you're hurting for cash. You got some free money. We'll give you some liquidity, even though we know you're going to eat through it.
What other community would ever? I've never seen that in any other community that I've been a part of, or that I'm in right now. Either Discord, Telegram, just social media. HEX is the only community where you see stuff like that, where people actually Just take a loss for the community.
Sorry, I don't do well multitasking. I was like reading like the messages, so I missed what you just said. Sorry, I got distracted. Can you repeat what you just said? Sorry about that.
Oh, no, I was just talking, reading the comments too.
Oh, okay, you're reading the comment. Okay, sorry. I got distracted because I was interested in what they were saying.
Yeah.
What was the reply, Optimus Prime? What was the reply from Hexman? I guess is my question.
Reply, don't know, yeah.
Richard Hart going to be mad at you for what? Why would Richard Hart be mad? What?
I think I missed it.
I'm pretty sure that Richard is probably these comments make no sense because, like, all right, let's think about what would make Richard upset. Well, he probably doesn't give a flying fuck about anything. Honestly, he's a multi-billionaire.
He doesn't care
He's
about
like fucking living up like a dream life. Like, he probably doesn't even care. Like, he knows like Hex will do well in the future. If he's upset with anyone, he's probably just upset with all the people trying to give him advice about things, but meanwhile they're just dumping the asset that he created. I think Richard probably respects. My guess is that Richard probably respects the work that I do. I don't know that for a fact, but I know that in the early days of Hex, Richard made a lot of positive comments about the work that I did and showed his like verbal support for that work, which I greatly appreciate. So I don't know why Richard Hart would be mad at me, maybe for creating drama or something, or maybe because I'm often some meme coin.
Hex man thought you were calling Richard Hart the liar. Okay. So he misinterpreted what you were saying, I guess.
Oh no, these whatever I'm posting on Twitter has nothing to do with Richard Hart. Yeah. Interesting. Richard Hart is getting laid and paid. Hell yeah. 6.3 PP enters the chat. Red Bull enters the chat.
It's so funny how that stirs up. That's the stuff that divides the community that I don't think he realizes how it just causes unnecessary like bickering and like just drama and fighting over Richard shouldn't post that stuff. I went to a meeting and I told them about Hex and they went and saw a picture of his dick. Now they're pissed. And then it's like and it's like Richard can be rich and it just causes fighting.
Yeah.
And it's just not a good look for Hex in general.
But here's what people need to remember. Richard created so many multi-millionaires from Hex. Delayed gratification the longest. Didn't have to do any of this. Created so much value for us. Let him enjoy life. Stop judging him. He's got so much money from other assets. He's never sold a single Hex token to date. Leave the man alone and maybe show some love and respect for someone that taught us how to become wealthy, and then we can pass that information on and that knowledge on to others. It doesn't bother me. Fucking enjoy life. And also, Richard is very strategic. Like the things that he's doing, it's growing like a crazy following. And if he has a larger audience, he can affect more people's lives in a positive way. So I just think all these people that judge his marketing strategies are just like absolute plebs that like they really don't know what they're talking about. Stop judging. You're just looking at the Hex price chart and then projecting it onto Richard. Maybe close the price chart and maybe do something to pump our bags. Maybe get on some live streams or get on Twitter or go out and like do brochures or whatever you could do, whatever you're good at in life. Like use that to pump Hex and Pulse and PulseX and Pulse Doge and some assets that we care about, or Maximus or whatever, or Hedron, HSIs, or whatever. Like stop with the bullshit.
Yeah, it's
really annoying.
And it's like All right, so I do crypto consulting, right? So I was on a call maybe 3 months ago with Funding Jim and a couple of my clients who are billionaires, and we got on a call, and Richard jumped on, and
Nice.
we had a great call, and at the end of the day, these guys were like, you know what, I'm kind of nervous on Hex, and Richard turned them off personally, and they ended up sacrificing for Pulse X, but they just, something didn't sit right. And, how am I going to get mad at, and complain? I am the one that took the time to set the meeting to introduce these people. I'm the one that voluntarily got involved in this. How can I get mad at the outcome? I could have just stayed away from all of it and not had any, and just kept my nose clean.
Yeah.
But like, why am I going to get butthurt when this guy says, I'm not going to buy HEX because I didn't like a couple things Richard said. So Richard, why would you say that? This guy's not going to buy HEX now because of you.
Yeah.
So what?
Who cares? That's one person.
You can't please everybody.
There's 7.9 billion people in the world. Who cares if one person doesn't buy something? I've had people, they're like, oh, I'm never going to buy Pulse Doge because you sold Hedron. And so I'm never going to get into that asset. I mean, I understand like their fear and their concerns, and I get that. But at the same time, like, should you really be making emotional decisions like that? If something's good for you and good for your wallet, why wouldn't you make the choice that's good for your wallet, right? So number goes up. If not, then you just wreck yourself and just make an emotional decision. And that's just like dumb, right? Like use less obviously it's hard to make, like everyone makes at the end of the day, they do make, like every decision is to some degree an emotional decision, but you probably want to use more of like the side of your brain that deals with logic and being rational when you think about whether you want to put money into something and make money from that asset. Like that should be your primary concern. Play your own chess game. Stop worrying about like these other players, like what they're doing. Just think about what's in the best interest of your wallet and where can you get maximum return on investment. That's all that matters.
Right. And when you're trying to, if you are trying to onboard someone and they go and they see a YouTube video and they get turned off by Richard, so what? Don't take that. It doesn't matter. You're going to get that from some people. Not everybody has the same views. So even though you took that time and you understand HEX and how great it is, just because somebody else said, you know what, it's not for me, don't go to Twitter and start telling Richard he needs to change what he's doing because you flew 3 hours to go meet with someone who you thought you were going to onboard.
Hey, also too, just to add to that, people didn't like Richard before all the ostentatious flexes with like supercars and like the Rolexes and like the Louis Vuitton and the Gucci and all that stuff. They didn't like him before.
Yeah.
Like they just hated his personality. But you know what? When you listen to Richard, you get the cold, harsh truth. You got all these liars in crypto. They're just lying to everybody. Dishonest, greedy, like scumbag type of like people that only care about their wallets and will shill the fuck out of something just so that it could be in their own personal best interest. I can tell you right now, I will not tell you to put your money into something that I don't think is good for your wallet, whether I own the asset or not, because it just violates core concepts and principles that I live by. So that's just me personally. I won't. And going back to Richard, like you can learn so much from him. No one is at the level of Richard Hart. No one is in that same league when it comes to crypto. Not any of these guys that have like huge followings in crypto. Mm-hmm. I don't trust any of them. They're not on the same level intellectually. Like Richard literally runs intellectual laps around these fools and makes them look silly. Remember the ideas of HEX like memes?
Almost.
What's that?
He's almost honest to a fault.
No, I mean, because you could tell he actually cares about people.
Right.
If you can't see that, then you don't understand who he is or what he's about. You just get lost in the sauce. The stuff that he's doing now is just like marketing and attract a larger audience. He knows what he's doing. He's not stupid.
Right. He's an IQ test. If you can't see that the watches are to get a different demographic just looking in, if you don't understand clickbait, he's done everything he can preaching self-help, preaching do this. People don't care. People want clickbait. People want the number go up. They want to see fast cars, icy watches. That's just the materialistic society we're in. And as soon as that stuff is no longer cool, he will be on to the next. He will not be doing this, designer Rolex stuff for it. It's cool now, but in 2 years he'll be on to some new fad, and he'll keep adapting and keep rolling with it. And he's brilliant, man. He's brilliant. When you sit down and just listen to what he says and you understand where he came from, you just start connecting the dots, and it's like, okay, if this guy was a scam artist, there'd be a track record. Everyone has people that are narcissists like that leave a trail of destruction behind them. He's a hardworking, just good guy that ended up in a position where a lot of people hate and a lot of people want to be you, and he's handled it amazingly well.
The thing is, people are so salty and jealous. Let's face it. Come on, guys. This is so easy to see. Everyone's like, their wallets are suffering in this bear market. Things are getting wrecked. They see the price crashing. And all that they do is project their own like jealousy and saltiness onto people like Richard. Like, you guys can't see that. I mean, this is basic psychology, guys. This is not fucking rocket science. Hey, excuse me for 1 second. I gotta take an important call. I don't mean to be rude, but this important call. Just give me like a couple minutes. I just want to make sure there's no issues, and I'll step right back on. All right, just give me a second.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks.
I'll just view him quick. Yeah, that was awesome to have Günther there with us here. Who's having him come on has been a blessing. So yeah, man, we do this every Saturday night. HEX, Machina, and myself. We try to take what we've taught, what we've learned in HEX. So I've been in crypto for 5 years now. I started a Discord server with a friend of mine in the end of 2019, and it got to I'm not going to say the name of it because we went separate ways. We didn't see eye to eye, and we were charging $500 a person to get into our server. And we were giving out picks, a coin here a week, a coin there. And we were just teaching people onboarding. And any time someone had a question, there was someone there to answer. And it was a way to just help people from getting wrecked. So I spent so much time helping. I mean, day after day, I quit my job and I just said, I'm doing this full time. And it didn't work out with him. So I ended up starting Vibra, which is a crypto consulting company. So basically, people that got wrecked, people that need help, people looking to, diversify, consolidate, get into crypto without necessarily owning crypto, like on Link2, where you can buy Ripple, you can buy Coinbase, you can buy Kraken. So you can kind of have indirect access to crypto through the stock market and through IRAs, stuff like that with iTrust Capital. So just showing people different ways to do crypto and to kind of maximize efficiency, no risk, security. That's what we're all about. So I know Günther was saying it earlier. He doesn't talk about coins he doesn't own or that he doesn't, or do the research on. I'm the same way here. I will never shill anything that I don't own, that I don't do the research on, or, I don't shill anything. I do the research. And if it's something that I like, I'll talk about it. And there's very, very few stuff that we bring up on this stream. And it's mostly Richard Hart and a few projects here and there, but we're all about helping people and preventing them from getting wrecked. And it's a full-time job when you have a group of people in a Discord that are new, and just steering them the right way, security, getting a ledger. It's a lot of work, and it feels really good when you help someone and they genuinely just appreciate what you've done for them. You know, the money only takes you so far. You know, just seeing when you tip someone $100, seeing that smile on their face or like that, oh my God, did you really just do that? Like, you can tell when you change someone's life or just change their day. And that feeling is money can't do that for you.
Yeah, also a nice play too. And I've done this for a lot of people. You could send send some tokens to people that you meet. It helps onboard them. People love free money, and just kind of encourage them like, hey, here's a 1,000 Pulse Doge tokens, you know, hold on to it. I hope you make mad gains from it. There's a free gift. Even if they sell it early, it's okay, right? Because just people have a need for money or whatever. But there might be a couple people that like actually just hold on to it for like 1,000x or 10,000x or 100,000x gain, and that's amazing because you just gave them a small amount of your position and gave them the opportunity to make life-changing wealth. Not everyone has access to even put in $500 into crypto or even $100 into crypto. Like, people are struggling. Look at these hyper inflated prices of things. The Federal Reserve just printing trillions and trillions of dollars, driving up the cost of goods and services and products. And then like you go into like a grocery store and it's like, fuck, I got to pay fucking $8 for a loaf of bread. Like, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and it's not going to get any better for the foreseeable future. It's people are going to become more desperate, and people are going to be sold on more hopes and dreams, and the scams are going to start. I mean, geez, look at YouTube. You cannot go anywhere without finding Elon Musk or Charles Hoskinson or someone trying to give you back 2 Bitcoin if you send them 1. I mean, it's everywhere still.
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's scammers everywhere. We even have looked at some addresses in HEX that have scammed like millions of HEX tokens from people, and they're just lurking in the background, and no one knows. But their addresses get fucked by like a group of like private like forensic analysts that are really good at what they do, and I'm part of that group. I won't disclose who's in that group, but just some really good people. And we just fuck these addresses. We fuck everyone. No one is safe. No one is secure. We don't like to dox people, right? But sometimes, like, if you just know somebody's just like blatantly lying about something, and their body language suggests that they're lying, and you know their addresses and you can connect them, and like there's a deeper story. Like, in some cases, like, you kind of have to like call somebody out on their bullshit. But we do our best to just try to I mean, I'm all about privacy. I know what it's like to have addresses that get doxxed. It's not fun, right? It's not fun when somebody like doxes you to like 60,000 people. And I think people's information should be private. But at the same time, if you're like a malicious or evil player, well, fuck you. You can get fucked. You can get wrecked. I don't care. I don't care if everyone knows like the wallets you control. I don't care. I want these bad players like out of like HEX. I want them out. I don't trust them. I don't trust anything that comes from their mouth. I look at their wallets and see the connection. I'm like, nope, this is not a good player for HEX or for any other asset for that matter.
That's so true, man. And people are desperate now. People need clicks. The stuff that when you're in a bull market and you could just throw a dart at a board and you're gonna come out on top. But in the bear market right now, if you're relying on YouTube for those clicks and you're living a lifestyle, you're gonna do anything, and it gets bad. So you're spot on with that. Spot on.
And, hey, so it looks like we're almost at 3 hours, and it was I had a great time. Thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate that. The only downside to like really long live streams is that it's just hard to get people that weren't here for the live stream to like actually watch it, because it's just like the length of it is just like could be overwhelming for them. But
Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. No, it was great. It was funny because Brian called me maybe Thursday and was like, dude, you won't believe it. I finally talked to Günther and he's coming on Saturday. I was like, that's so funny because I was actually looking up. Someone sent me a message like, you got to look at this stream with this guy Günther the other day. So I was trying to find a stream of yours, and literally 2 hours later, he calls me and says he's going to be on stream with us Saturday. So I was like, no, that's awesome. So I'm super glad that you're on here, man. And anytime, we do this every Saturday night, anytime you want.
Thanks.
More than welcome to.
Yeah, man, I'm just another clown living in clown world. Still a pleb in plebville. Yeah. There's a lot that you can learn in crypto. I've learned a lot, but still a long ways to go.
Yeah, same here, man. Well, yeah, bro. I thanks for coming on, man. Like I said, I really appreciate it. And thanks for everyone in the chat for being here for this long. I mean, I can't thank you enough. It's humbling.
Yeah. You guys have a good night. We had a great audience in the chat too. Thanks, guys, for taking time out of your day to listen to the stream, because we also know you guys have busy lives. So yeah, hit the like button, retweet the video too, send it out. You want more people to watch the video, get more views. So anyway.
Awesome. All right, guys, we will see you next week. And thank you again for tuning in.
Yeah. See y'all later. Good night.